your seats, hang on tight, because we are starting right now!
Today is the day. For every battle waged, for every choked and dusty breath, for every moment clinging to the bitter edge of destruction. Today is the day that 3 will rise. Pro Light, Pro 2, and Pro 4. 3 classes of fire-breathing mechanical beasts, piloted by the bravest drivers on dirt, will battle the elements, the track, and each other to lay claim to the ultimate title in off-road. After a brutal season of attrition and clash, a grueling season of stinging sweat, painful roost, countless hours of toil, all for brief moments of glory and accolades, and doing it all over again and again and again, all season long. Today is the day, the final race. The engine syncs with the driver's heartbeat as man and machine become one. A percussion of harnessed energy builds to the breaking point, and the breath shallows as the eyes strain for the first flicker of green flag, when finally, mercifully, the explosive horsepower is released. Today is the day. When deep swallows of fresh air replace the clogging grit, when sweet cheers overcome the ringing roar of motors and the shower of champagne washes away the many layers of dirt. Today is the day when champions are crowned. This is TORC, the off-road championship. The day is finally upon us. TORC, the off-road championship presented by Amsoil. We're at ERX Motor Park for the Kenda final round. Hi everyone, welcome to a beautiful Minnesota. A great day for racing. Bluebird skies, a slight breeze, and welcome. I'm Robbie Floyd, joined by TORC Series champion Ricky Johnson. And RJ, as a racer, you've been in the situation where you needed to win at that final round to win a championship. But on the flip side, you've clinched the championship for that final round. What's it like?
2 completely different roles. As a champion, you walk in knowing that win, lose, or draw, you're going to walk away with a piece of history. But you're only as good as your last race, so you do not want to give those competitors a chance to beat you because you're the champion. As the guy chasing, it's checkers or wreckers, it's all or nothing. So you come in, give it your all, and hope for the best.
I like what you say. You're only as good as your last race. And you look at dominance at ERX in its short history. CJ Greaves in 7 pro truck races has won 6 of them, except for the last race. Right now he's caught up with Kate Osborne.
So the big question for CJ Greaves, what motivates you more here today? Is it your 6 wins at ERX or your 1 loss, which happened in round 12?
It's definitely that 1 loss. We came into ERX undefeated in Pro 4 and Pro 2, obviously not racing the Pro 2 this weekend, but we had the fastest truck out on the track yesterday, just didn't know how to put it in the right place at the right time, kept getting gathered up, so we're definitely going to shoot for another W here today.
Not only another W, but his 3rd Pro 4 championship in his career.
And champions will be crowned right there on that stage in front of this ERX crowd. 3 more champions of the TORC Series for 2017.
Final round Sunday, it's going to be an interesting one. I think everybody's going to let it hang out on the line.
You know, just like any other race weekend, we're out here to win races. The points from the first round are just as important as the points from the final round.
We're just continue to battle on and try not to make any mistakes, run everyone clean, and just have a fun race. Make it come down to just the best man throughout the weekend who comes out with the championship.
You know, so many people think that, you know, CJ and I have this program or this secret scenario we're working out, but honestly, the only one who wants it worse than him is me.
Maybe it'll work out in my favor, maybe not, but at the end of the year, you know, I'm proud of what my team's accomplished and what I've accomplished.
I'm not going to go crazy and take myself out of the race or something like that, but I'm still going to go for it. I'm not going to lay back and let these guys battle out front alone.
They say you're only as good as your last race. You know, the championship is definitely something that carries a lot of weight, but if you put in a solid performance at the last race of the year, that's what everyone remembers going into the off season.
Obviously, guys are going to be throwing it in, trying to make it happen. we're going to be right there with them. I don't want to take anybody out, but we got to get to the front of the pack.
We fought so hard to get here. I want to go out with wins.
And there's going to be fireworks.
Well, as the Kenda Tire entry of Sean Morris rolls over on 2, then back to 4 wheels. The object is to keep it on all 4 wheels today, and quite a few fans here at ERX ready to see the racing go down. Let's send it over to public address announcer, the voice of off-road, Mr. Scott Rain.
ERX Motor Park race fans, welcome to round 13. It is the final day of racing for 2017. It is the Kenda Tire National Finals. Will everyone at this time please rise in recognition of our color guard. This afternoon, our colors being presented by the Elk River American Legion.
Oh, right, face.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the Gold Star family presentation of our flag. Rachel Hill of Elk River, Minnesota, with sons Tristan and Tyler, in honor of Captain Jeffrey Hill, U.S. Air Force, who passed away on July 28, 2010.
On behalf of the President of the United States, its citizens, and its service members, to give you this flag in honor of your father.
Race fans, please remain standing for our race day invocation this afternoon by Billy Sanderson.
Let's pray. Father, thank you for a beautiful day. Thank you for these beautiful people. We are mindful today of the men and women who have sacrificed it all so that we could be here in this great venue. Lord, we're mindful today of our fellow citizens in Florida and Texas, Louisiana, and even down in the Caribbean who have some lost it all. God, we pray that you would be with them, be with the leaders of this great country. As we gather together here today, we pray that the racing would be fast, the competitiveness would be awesome, and Father, we just pray that sportsmanship would rise. For it's in your matchless name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as you're about to hear the greatest song in the world about the greatest country in the world. And today, with all the global turmoil going across our world, please keep those in mind that are serving our country, putting themselves in harm's way to protect our freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon's national anthem being sung by Kim Woody.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight lights last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now race the greatest words in motorsports. Our grand marshals this afternoon, Tristan and Tyler Hill.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
You heard them, Riggy. It's time to fire it up. The Pro Stock UTVs, the first race of 5 here this afternoon on a beautiful day in Minnesota. At least it is right now. You never know. The weather could change at any moment, but it has been awesome so far. A little cooler than the past couple of days. The breeze blowing, and quite a few fans on here to watch the final round. They say TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by Amsoil. We're at ERX Motor Park, and these are the Kenda final rounds, and this is the final round of the final rounds.
This is what everybody's, you think when you start a season, you have all of these questions, all of these, you know, you wonder, you pray, you work so hard, you do all the different stuff, and then you get to here and you almost, it's a blur because it's so much work, so much travel, so much racing and all the different stuff, and you wonder how it's all going to come out. Well, today is the day that all of those answers are given. We have a driver that's trying to have an absolute perfect record. We have multiple drivers that are trying to knock him off of that top spot.
Pedestal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even a podium. He is on a pedestal right now in this class.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about him in just a moment. But so many things with so many different deals, and we saw in the opening the different emotions of, you know, some championships are locked up, but the guys want to show that they still have what it takes. Those champions want to defend that, and also there's still championships to be crowned.
Pro Stock UTVs, the Yamaha Pace vehicle, the YXZ leading them off, 1,000 cc's, and quite a few Yamahas in this field in the Pro Stock class. Trying to find my sheet there, and I'll get you all of them. But yeah, mostly Yamahas, a Polaris of Robert Laurie in there as well, and Trevor Layton, Lucas Olson, and Anthony Schwellenbach. But a class in the stock class, and the reason being is, and why you don't see the Can-Ams, if they are a turbo, they must race in the Pro Mod category. So the next race you'll see will be the Pro Mod UTVs. But right here, you're looking about a winning streak for CJ Greaves. In 12 rounds, he has won all 12 of them. They have not been easy. Some have been easier than others, but all of them have not been easy, especially the last few races. You start seeing more pressure from Zach Martin, Jake Lunderby, Dylan Point, Kenny Mash putting the pressure on. Will today be the day that somebody can knock him off of that pedestal?
Well, and also the Greaves family is helping them get ready and prep their cars, so they know what's under the hood. So let's go racing.
Here we go. Pro Stock UTVs will make this left-hand turn. You'll see the acceleration zone marked by, looks like 3 white triangles or 4 white triangles right around there. And they get on the gas anytime they want, and it looks like a good start.
Zach Martin with the hole shot.
Yeah, on that inside position. CJ Greaves on the outside. Looks like a little bit dusty for the first time you've been watching this weekend. It's a little dustier today than it had been.
Dylan Point, yes, it has, because it's been, we expected a lot of rain, so they didn't water the track. They didn't want to soak it if Mother Nature was going to do it. But right now, it's a very raceable track. It's going to get a little bit dusty as the day goes on, but the guys here at ERX and also the TORC track prep crew, Jeff Nordstrom and Flavio and the whole gang, do an awesome job of making it very racy for the guys, and right now, it's perfect.
The split section of the course, the first guy, I believe that's Jake Lunderby, to try that outside line. Everybody else took the inside. In the lower horsepower and displacement categories, it seemed like that inside was the faster. I saw some short course carts earlier, and boy, a massive mistake by Owen Van Emper because he lost 80 yards in that process.
Well, because these are such small, such short. No, there's a lot of horsepower, but they're very, very small. As we watch the race for 4th place, very tight between all three of these guys. But they're able to rotate and have all-wheel drive and get down there a lot quicker than the trucks can. But right now, Zach Martin has a commanding lead over CJ Greaves. But let's watch CJ. He starts to get faster and faster as the race goes on.
Yeah, and mind you, when I'm talking about this section right here, I'm not talking about small horsepower for these guys. I'm talking about in comparison to the trucks that you'll be seeing a little bit later on. That outside line is a little bit farther, but you see they are keeping it pinned through that section. And we want to remind everyone also as, somebody gets kicked way wide that time.
Pointon.
It was Dylan Pointon, and he got way wide out there in that fluff heart. We will have a competition caution after lap 6 of 12.
Dylan Pointon was really fast yesterday, but then had troubles later on. Obviously went over and crashed pretty hard, but obviously he's got that car back in shape and ready to race right now. So running strong, but this race for 4th place between
Kenny Mash up there leading that one, Jake Lunderby.
And Inlow as well.
Yep.
So there we see Lunderby in the 955, who's trying to work his way around Mash, but we haven't seen Inlow up here a lot, and he looks very strong at this point.
Blake Inlow on the 998 out of Illinois. Time or two he's been up there, staying up there has been the tougher case. The Legacy Corporation Brooks Farms machine. And again, a lot of Yamahas in the field, the blue and white ones and the yellow and black ones. They're the same thing, just different skin.
Yep. Different plastic scheme, but you look at how close they are and how quick they run these. Well, these being a smaller displacement vehicle and all-wheel drive, it's all about momentum. You got to keep it rolling and try to slow down as little as possible in the corners and open up the corners as much as you can. And there we see Pointon get a little bit wide and lose some ground to Mash.
And low under pressure from Jake Lunderby. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, everybody, thank you very much. Robbie has made a mistake this season now, so we've gotten that out of the way. So that's usually my job.
It's Ben Inlow that was behind Lunderby, and that's what I was thinking. I was trying to figure. Right now, Lunderby's an Inlow sandwich. Got a couple of brothers, one in front, one behind. Again, the track looks really good right now, Ricky, and again, the lighter weight vehicles are not going to really churn it up, tear it up too much, but I mean, it is a really good track right now.
Yeah, Zach Martin is the only one that you see there in the orange Yamaha as well, and now you see CJ Greaves starting to creep up on him, getting a little bit closer, and they've made a little bit of ground on Pointon, and then the rest of the crew is right in chase.
Point back in third, that 55.7, his quickest lap, but you look at both Martin and Greaves. Martin, the only one in the 54, is a 54.9. Greaves a 55.0. But yeah, you see the pressure starting to build now. You think that's a case of CJ just trying to let things pan out for a second, catch his breath, and then try and put the screws to it before that, that halfway point?
Well, he knows how well of a vehicle that Greaves Motorsports puts together, and that it's able to run wide open the whole time. So he really doesn't have to save the tire, suspension, or anything. This thing can take a beating the whole time. But right now, what I think he's doing is just watching Martin and seeing where he's going. What kind of lines is he looking at? Is he get what's opening up?
Nice.
And not show his hand too soon. So if he feels he has something for him, I think it's better for him to wait and not show Martin all the lines for the second half.
And I think you saw that in that left-hand turn that just came up. How hard he charged in there on the turn from the outside, diving in, and CJ Greaves is just trying to stay on it a little bit longer and seeing how far he can push that envelope. Let's go to Kate Osborne.
I want to add to what you were saying about CJ, about watching Zach Martin right now, really trying to analyze his lines. We know that CJ is patient. That's something that he's proven to us time and time again. And also, he's going for his 13th Pete here in this series. So it is definitely something that he's going to be cautious of. But of course, being patient.
Hey, it's good to have one Pete, but when you got 13 Petes, I mean, that's unbeatable.
That's a lot of Petes.
It is, and he's starting to put the pressure on with one more lap to go before, no, that is it. The cross flag should have came out. 6 laps to complete. That means we got 6 more to go. And CJ Greaves will start in second behind Zach Martin. Kenny Mash up into third. Blake Enlow fourth. Jake Lunderby in fifth. Kate Osborne, what do you got?
I want to make a note that Zach Martin has been running in the Pro Light series here this weekend, and I think that's actually helping him not only in his confidence, but the reps around this track. It's paying off. He right now is obviously showing that he has the skill and he has what it takes, but really he looks good, and he looks like he's had time here now.
Yeah, and when you see Martin, he saw a lot of banging, bouncing going on in front of him in the other class, in the truck class, and I think it has helped him.
Evidently, anytime that you get more seat time, and that's helping out CJ Greaves, who's not running just the stock UTV, the mod UTV, but he's looking for a championship in Pro 4 as well. So anytime you get more time out there and you get to know the dirt, that's just like in motocross. You see guys that are good in the local area. It's not just because they know the track. The track changes all the time, but they know how the dirt reacts as they see it. Is it slippery? Is it ruddy? Can you lean on the berm? Can you not? And that's what I think you're seeing out of Zach Martin and also CJ Greaves.
Zach and CJ both as well. And like I said, I don't mean to say that CJ's head and shoulders above everybody else, because Zach Martin's out in front, but you could just tell he was trying to push a little farther in that last lap and just see how far he could do it in second. So right now, as we kick off this second half of this race after this left-hand turn, I'll tell you another guy to look for, Kenny Mash in third. The last time I saw him beside CJ 2 rounds ago, he gave him a pretty hard bump from behind too. I think he's not intimidated by CJ Greaves at all.
No, I don't think they're intimidated by him, but they just, it's gotta frustrate you when a guy beats you week after week after week, and you watch what he's doing. This is like a chess game. CJ doesn't do anything fancy. I mean, it's very fancy, I mean, if you break it down, but he just doesn't make the mistakes, and he just walks up. Now watch how close he gets to him, looks a little bit on the inside, gets a better run here, better run there. So he's not trying to do anything massively flamboyant, so it's really frustrating when you're trying to get a read on him to try to beat him.
I don't know who was in his ear right then, but he almost probably said, yeah, you're clear, go ahead and swing wide, and Kenny Mash almost stuck a wheel underneath him.
Zach Martin with a slight swap side to side in that rhythm section before Talladega. Now we see CJ Greaves as he opens up a little bit and look for him to try to get him on the exit as he shoots down low through the middle.
He worked on that 2 laps ago. I told you how hard he charged it from that outside going in. That's what he was testing, seeing how much he can throw it. And it also, with him being behind Martin, Martin doesn't know that he's necessarily doing that.
And what I like about CJ, I agree with you 100%, Robbie. What I like about CJ is when it doesn't work, he doesn't panic. He doesn't like, oh, I put all that work into it. He just goes back to work. Now he starts to run a little bit higher. Now he starts to run a little bit lower. And he makes a little ground here and a little ground there. And sooner or later, he's hoping that Zach Martin will make a mistake. But if Zach keeps running the way he is, CJ's not going to be able to get a run on it.
Do you notice, though, back in third, when Kenny Mash sees CJ open that door up a little bit, he goes to that inside when he's not going to make the pass. He's actually messing up his line, but it looks like, hey, maybe I can. Well, nope, it's not going to happen there.
Well, this looks a lot like when we watched Bryce Menzies and Kyle LeDuc in Crandon. Here we see him look underneath.
That's a pass right there, my friend. That's going to the inside with a clear lane, but Martin will have that inside on the right hand.
Exactly. Hopefully they don't hook wheels, because these are open wheels, but Martin with a strong move pulls it off. But now CJ going to try to push it, open it up, and now try to come back to the inside. So once again, CJ doesn't panic. He had the pass made, but Martin was there. He didn't turn into him and try to block him. He just ran a strong line, and here he goes right underneath him.
Another push by Martin that time. If CJ goes straight, Martin's got to get in that line, and he does. But they're going to be really close right here. It's the closest CJ's been. And Martin really can't give up those outside. You know, he can't keep pushing like that, or CJ's going to dive underneath.
But watch CJ's machine through those bumps into Talladega. It absorbs a little bit better, and Zach Martin seems to kick and bounce a little bit more. So they need to do some suspension work if they want to keep up with CJ. So see if he holds the inside this time to force CJ around the outside.
He did much better that time, didn't he?
Great line by Zach Martin and his spotter. Not blocking. I want to make sure that everyone is clear that he's not blocking. He's just running a very fat line.
Yeah, and also he went fairly outside back to that inside, much like CJ, but CJ's only shot then is take that chance and drive to fully around the outside, which is the long way. But if you're going to do something different, that's why Martin's just keeping him guessing right here.
So what Martin's doing is he's giving him about enough rope to hang himself. He comes in, he opens up, gives about 3/4 of it. So if CJ pushes it and he really wants it this last lap, he can force him out of the way. But watch the suspension as they go through. Martin bounces, and CJ seems to absorb it a little bit better. He gets a run across the inside.
Knowing CJ Greaves, he does not want it to come down to that last lap like we've seen it before. There are only 2 laps left in this race. The first undefeated season in TORC and UTVs is up for grabs right here. CJ got a tremendous drive, but just like we saw before, that outside line is going to get a little bit more momentum, and Zach still holds on to the lead.
This is the best race that we've seen. Everybody always seems to crumble around CJ, but Zach Martin doing a great job, not holding him off, but running his own line and making CJ work left and work right. We're going to see what he does in these last couple laps. I'm anticipating CJ shooting up the inside if he doesn't get the pass done in Talladega.
The last time we saw somebody really pressure us hard, it was Jake Lunderby back at Redbud. CJ made a mistake, literally, or Lunderby made a mistake literally on the last lap due to all that pressure. Can CJ put the pressure on? Because after this left-hander, they're going to get wide. Oh, he pushes wide, and CJ's in a position. Now we've got a drag race to take the white flag. It's going to be CJ first to the stripe, but barely.
But he's got the inside, so now what is Zach Martin going to do? Hit the brakes and try to shoot her on the inside or hold the outside? He does. CJ pushes wide and takes the spot.
Takes that line, and now it's a drag race, but no, he loses. He missed a shift. He had to have missed a shift there.
Unbelievable. I love CJ Greaves, but I am cheering for Zach Martin right now, so keep it up, buddy. You got a half a lap to go.
CJ had it. He cleared him. He was a full cart length ahead of him, and then he missed a shift. This is going to come down to the very end right here, taking this left-hand turn, hairpin one more time. Martin goes wide once again.
But CJ's strong point is the rhythm section, so watch. But Martin gets a great run at the beginning of the split lane.
Yes, I don't know. That's too much ground to make up. But watch out. If Martin pushes wide, CJ's going to be there at the very end. There goes Martin. It's a drag race to the finish line. Who's going to do it? Is it Martin? Is it Greaves? It's Martin by 0.3 of a second over CJ Greaves in his first win in 2017.
You have to be so excited for Zach Martin because he fought the whole race. That was not a gimme. CJ didn't break. Congratulations to Zach Martin.
Designed for your journey.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
What a day it's been so far. A lot of sportsman racing previously, and now the Pro UTV, or the Stock UTV class, kicking things off here at ERX Motor Park in Elk River, Minnesota. And what looked like a certainty in CJ Greaves with his 13th win would not be, as Zach Martin able to take his first victory of the year, and it's the last race of the season. There he is, Zach Martin. I mean, he's been trying for this moment, and he finally does it at the last race of the year, Kate.
Well, my friend, you stopped his streak. You finally did it. I have to say congratulations. It's a huge win. More importantly, what were you thinking? What were you telling yourself? That final lap, hold on, hang on. What was it you were motivating yourself with?
Just drive. Just don't make a mistake. Just drive. I mean, that was the focus. You know, we set the pole this morning. We've been busting our butt all weekend. You know, we start running a pro light now too, and it's just me and 2 guys. I mean, it feels amazing. You know, I hate to knock CJ off on his 13th race, but man, I wanted to win so bad this year, and we got on the last race of the season.
You can tell he worked hard for that one, and it's so very deserving. Congratulations, Zach Martin.
One of his sponsors, Jersey Mike Subs. Maybe we all get a free sub, Ricky. I don't know. Congratulations to Zach and that SOB Built Motorsports Yamaha taking a victory over CJ Greaves. Greaves will take the championship, though. Almost that perfect season. There have been 13 races. He wins 12 of them, and it was the most dominant driver. Kenny Mash, a podium as well in 3rd. Lunderby back in 5th. And Carmody 9th. Klaus rounding out the top 10. Let's go back down trackside. Kate's with CJ Greaves.
So many times it looks like you were going to get him, and Zach Martin had it on you here today, but there was a point that it looked like a little mistake was made, which you don't do that often. What was it?
Yeah, we wrecked 3rd gear, so we were coming out of the corner and having to go 2nd to 4th, so we were losing a little time initially right out of the corner, but that wasn't until about 2 laps from the end. So when I got inside of him here, that was the last of 3rd. We went into 2nd, went to pull 3rd out of the corner, and she was gone. It just went into neutral, and Zach ended up getting me back, but he ran one heck of a race. I think that was probably the most fun UTV race I've ever had out there. We were going side by side, squaring each other up, drag racing up the hill, and I think you can say these things are pretty even on power, judging by that race, and hats off to him. I mean, this tranny made every lap except the last 2, so he finished 1st, and congrats to him ending my streak, but we'll take the championship this year and keep moving forward. But couldn't do it with all the guys from Yamaha, all my crew, Yamalube, Method Race Wheels, Fox Shocks, Maxxis Tires, Luke from Beyond Redline, everyone that helps us out. We got the championship, and that's what matters.
Taking that championship, CJ, when you kicked off the season here in Pro Stock UTV, knowing you guys had good cars, knowing that you guys worked on them all winter long, however, did you expect you would go 12 in a row and, more importantly, take the championship?
You know, we were set out to go win every race, so if it was judging by our plan, yeah, that was the goal, is to win every race out there, and we did. This car has lost 1 race, and that is here today. Going back to last year when we debuted it at Crandon, it swept the weekend there, so that's the most we can ask for. If that's what we got to take is 1 loss in this thing, then that's what we'll do. But we're going to keep moving forward, looking on for next year, and can't wait to do battle again.
CJ Greaves, you are Pro Stock UTV champion here this season.
And Monster Energy Yamaha, and he's smiling, but deep down, oh gosh, he wanted that perfect season. As you see the championship points battle, this unofficially is where everyone finishes for the year. But what a season for CJ Greaves.
Yeah, and you know what? Hats off. You know, showing the maturity, and he dealing with the facts. He's not making excuses. He ran a great season all year long, but he was congratulatory of Martin. So awesome job.
Kenny Mash going to finish 3rd, the 2nd time he was able to do so this season, Kate.
You know, and I just came over to him and he said, I'm stoked. I'm 43 years old and I'm still running this. And, you know, Kenny, that is something to take away. For you, how would you describe your season?
It was rough. We started on the podium pretty close to CJ, and we expect to be there all year round. And we got turned to Crandon and wrecked our car, and, man, I haven't been the same since. So just getting back on track.
Getting back on track and getting back on the podium, that's huge. Kenny Mash finishing the season here with 3rd.
That's right, Kate. And he started off the season with those 2 second-place finishes. He'll have to look forward to 2018 for his next shot at the title. So the fans on the hillside here this weekend, and we like to talk about some extra money going to the drivers, and we call it the Vision Wheel Dash, or Vision Wheel Dash for cash, but that's basically what it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Flip for cash yesterday.
The Bad Mofo Award, Robbie Floyd, Ricky Johnson, and what does it take to be a bad mofo, Ricky? You should know.
Well, it takes a lot of things. One is sometimes it's the dominant winner. Sometimes it's somebody that deals with adversity. Sometimes it's somebody that's consistent and also sweeps the weekend. So we've seen it from everything where rollover made it back. Controversy. I think Luke Johnson won the first one at Chicago. Was able to fight his way up there. We've seen Keegan Kincaid win it. We've seen yesterday Sean Morris. He rolled his 28th roll in that truck, number 27. Truck rolled 28 times. So the 28th roll, he landed back on his wheels. He kept driving and still made it on the podium. So there's a lot of different things, and that's what's awesome. Vision Wheel said, you know what, we want to do something, give them a little bit of cash. And if you guys watch this all the time, I say it all the time, thank you so much to Vision Wheel for this because it's cool. Guy gets a little bit of cash, take his family out to dinner, buy his crew, you know, maybe a couple cold ones and things like that. But it's this wallet. It's this wallet. So for I don't know if if I got one, I'd keep it for the rest of my life, and I'd pull it out on certain occasions. So somebody would have to ask me, hey, what is that? Oh, let me tell you about 2017.
Look at that. You went back to the 1900s.
I know. My bad. Way back in 1964 when they created leather. It's actually pleather or naga hide. I never seen a naga, but I know it's out there. Anyhow, but for a guy to be able to come up and say, hey, what is that? Oh, Twin Cities Takedown.
Yeah, that was
Bad Mofo. That was me. So whoever it is today, it's the last one.
Yeah, you know, we also talk about the competition and the drivers that we have in our series. I'm getting thirsty. It is a little warm today, too. But we've had a new series that's been on YouTube, youtube.com/TORC. It's called Young Guns. It started last week at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, however way you want to look at it. And it'll be every Wednesday on YouTube. So youtube.com. And the way you do it is you don't necessarily type youtube.com/TORC. You like to go click on my YouTube button and then do what search?
Well, I'm too old school. So my kids show me how to get the YouTube app. I hit my YouTube app. When I go there, I go to search, and I just put in TORC Young Guns, and it pops up. So that's the way I do it, but that's not the technical www.
That's the old
YouTube / : whatever.
Hey,
go to YouTube.
And if Ricky can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
Make sure you do it today and take a look at what Young Guns is all about.
A new generation is rising, an inevitable force primed to lay claim to what is theirs. This is Young Guns.
Welcome back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship, where you will see those Young Guns competing today. Just stick around. We still got plenty more racing still ahead.
Trailblade tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection, and by Cooper Tires. We make tires for people, not just cars.
There she is. You see Old Glory flying in the background. What would that be, a south to north wind possibly as we look at the track from basically almost where the spotters take a look at the track here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. We're at ERX Motor Park, about 30 minutes outside of Minneapolis. It's been a warm start to the autumn season.
Yes, and we've seen some crazy storms. I got some videos and tapes for people from Park City. They got dusted massively yesterday, so a lot of snow out there. But out here, it is hot and summerish.
Yes, it is. Kate Osborne, where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm hanging with the fans. It's a good spot. Podium's directly in front of me. Fans are all behind me. Everyone's having a great time out here. And it's not that hot, guys. I know it's blistering to you in your box, but over here, it's quite comfortable now here in round 13, which is great. But hey, guys, we want you to join our broadcast. So what can you do? You use hashtag #AskTorque and send us some questions, send us comments, give us some conversation starters, because Ricky and Robbie talk about hair sometimes, and that's because we want you to give us information as to what you want to talk about. So make sure you use hashtag #AskTorque on all of our social media. And by the way, we have some great behind-the-scenes content, exclusive videos and pictures, and pit walks that you're just not going to get here on the show, especially on our Facebook. So make sure you check those out.
All right, take care of those eyelashes, Kate. And yeah, it's
flapping in the wind, guys. They're flapping in the wind.
Yeah, we talk about hair a lot over there. It's a good day. It's a great day because it's the final day of TORC 2017. That championship feeling, knowing that you could walk away with that #1 plate has to feel good.
Well, in the anticipation of it, and not just today, but all the way up to it. You come to the second last round, we see CJ Greaves giving everybody a little champagne shower there, and CJ's going to be over there. Tiffany got a little bit wet, so she's going to be smelling like the bubbly for the rest of the day. Hopefully she doesn't get pulled over by the police. Have you been drinking, man? No, just swearing it.
Zach was part of that as well. And it's one of those things like, it's okay at the end of the day, but she knows her day's started for our program.
The only thing worse is I've done a deal where I got hit in the face with a pie with whipped cream.
Oh, that's bad.
And you think it's cool, but man, when it gets up your nose and everything, and next thing you know, you're riding, you're like, what the heck is going on? So not a good deal. And when you get sprayed in the eyes with it, it's bad as well.
It burns.
So you watch that. But sorry, Tiffany, this is just the beginning of it. We got more champions to crown, and you are going to be getting sprayed, I think, a couple times today.
Yeah. She might as well just go ahead and throw the rain suit on.
That's it.
I have a feeling. Wouldn't be as
Be like a Gallagher concert like the old days. Those of you who don't know who Gallagher is.
Smash-O-Matic or whatever.
Look, Sledge-O-Matic.
Sledge-O-Matic. That was it. And Katie, give her credit. She knew to get the heck out of Dodge.
Exactly. She knows better, But yeah, and now it's the last day, because a lot of times you'll see the guys. All right, guys, we got a full weekend of racing, so don't spray me because I don't want to be stinky and sticky in my driving suit. Watch this. They're going for headshots today when it comes to the champagne.
All right. It's that time. We get to release our first presentation of the championship, whatever it be, the plaque, the trophy, whatever, to our first set of drivers. Let's send it to public address announcer Mr. Scott Rain with our champion.
Well, race fans, it's now my honor to introduce to you the 2017 TORC Pro Stock UTV champion, 12 wins in 13 races. Talk about season domination, CJ Greaves.
CJ, congratulations. This bad boy is yours. It was a great season for you. 12 in a row, second place today, but you're still taking that championship home. We talked about it. How does this feel for your first time ever, first year, taking home a championship?
Oh, it's awesome. Like I said, we worked our butts off on these cars. We've built, I think, 20-some of them already, and every one of these, we got guys coming over asking questions, and we're swapping information left and right, trying to get these things the best as we can for everybody out there. So hats off really to all the guys at Yamaha, all the guys at Yamalube, Method Race Wheels, Greaves Exhaust, Speed Cell, Luke from Beyond Redline. I think he had these things on the dyno after almost every run with a new idea to get a little more power out of them. So we really appreciate everything he did. All my guys, Zach and Mike and little Jakers and my mom and dad and my sister and my girlfriend and all of our team that comes out here and supports us. We appreciate it, and we couldn't have done it without them. So it's a team effort for sure.
Well, I finally feel like you, CJ, are getting champagne everywhere. I did tell you on Friday that you could spray me. I didn't think you were going to do it, but a big congratulations to you. And I have one more gentleman. You probably know him. Steve from Yamaha is right over here. He would like to say a few words to you.
CJ, on behalf of Yamaha Motor Corporation, Yamaha's RV Group, I'd like to present you with this #1 plate and this championship bonus check for $15,000.
And back up to you guys. Nice job, CJ Greaves, #1.
And I'll take $15,000 for doing what I'm supposed to be doing anyway, and that's win races, Ricky.
Well, what I love is that the manufacturers are getting back involved, and we saw that in the 80s and the 90s with the trucks. We see the manufacturers with massively involved when it comes to motocross and supercross, and to see Yamaha and Polaris and Can-Am be out here, and obviously Yamaha winning the championship here in the Pro Stock division. I love it.
Just keep building the sponsor support. It is a Yamaha, all 13 races in the Pro Stock UTV that takes that Yamaha checkered flag first.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
Beautiful dirt. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but that is beautiful dirt here at the ERX Motor Park in Elk River, Minnesota for TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. We're at the Kenda final rounds. The final round is complete for the Pro Stock UTVs. Up next, the Pro Mod UTVs, and you see that chocolate cake you talk so often about, Ricky Johnson, is looking towards that split section. Even bigger wall today in between, it looks like, as it is a perfect day for racing as it stands right now. Clouds starting to roll in just a little bit, but it wouldn't hurt to cool down things.
As it stands right now. I think that's the key sentence in your last statement. And so right now it's perfect. The cloud cover's coming over. We saw dust in a couple of the earlier rounds because they were anticipating rain last night, so the track crew didn't water it. But they've gotten the track back underneath them, meaning that they got water in there. They're not having to throw it all over the top, but it's good and deep, and it's going to be great racing as we get moving forward. But you can see blue groove, so it's going to be a different racetrack than we've seen in the past couple days.
That's the first time we've seen that, Ricky, and typically you've talked about how it was better to open up those tires, bigger paddles for the deeper dirt. When you see sections like that, do you make an adjustment for it or say, okay, that's 1/100th of the track, I'm going to play on the other 99?
Well, I think what you have to do is you have to where's it going to be fast? And the cushion is going to be fast until it gets way late in the race. Then you got to use the cushion to shoot across the blue groove. So it's going to be a very racy track and a very complicated track when it comes to driving and setup. I would go with a more open tire, but a more consistent tire. So if you're talking about motocross, it would be an intermediate. So it will work in the sand and it will work in the blue groove. So I wouldn't commit too hard one way or the other because you're going to drive both.
There's the Pro Mod UTVs, and you see the leaves starting to fall on what I think is the third day of the fall season. And things have been warm here. Should be cooling down, I think, here in Minneapolis area. Here in this next week, I think they're going to drop like 20 to 30 degrees. So things are changing quick. But also, when we look at the guys lining up for the Pro Mod UTVs, you pointed out something just a second ago on the lineup.
Yeah, and we have CJ Greaves starting all the way back in 11th place. So if you look at the cars, the first two guys is Tim Farr and Elliott Burns, and then in the second row, you see in that 891 is Kyle Chaney. He's the current point leader, and right next to him is Johnny Greaves, who's sitting in for Rodney Van Eperen. So that's the race for the championship at this point. But way towards the back, you see CJ Greaves, who's been very fast and also just won the championship in the light division or the stock division. So look for him at the end of the race to be a spoiler.
And we want to explain again what's happening as far as why Johnny Greaves is in Rodney Van Eperen's vehicle, or why he's racing for CJ. Is there? I just saw the Van Eperen machine going by. He still gets driver points for Van Eperen. It was assigned at the first of the year. You get to pick one driver to fill in if injury or whatever it might be a problem. That's the case. The thing, though, that it now comes down to, and coming into today, there was a 5-point differential between Kyle Chaney and Rodney Van Eperen in points. Kyle Chaney had the fastest lap in qualifying. That gave him an extra point. That's big. Now it's a 6-point differential. So with 2 points between every position, if Chaney or if Van Eperen's driver wins, if Chaney's still in third place, he'll win the championship. Even with CJ in between, Chaney will still win the championship. If Van Eperen's driver, aka Johnny Greaves, wins and Chaney's back in fourth, it'll be Johnny and Van Eperen who win the championship.
But I want to be clear. I talked to Ronnie Van Eperen, and honestly, it broke his heart that he's not out there. And in my opinion, no offense, Johnny Greaves, but Ronnie Van Eperen is better in this mod UTV than Johnny Greaves is. Because everyone might think, oh, Johnny Greaves is the winningest guy in the short course series. Put him in there as a pick. No, Ronnie Van Eperen is a stud, so let's see how this plays out.
And he's been putting more time in it as well. So let's find out. Tim Farr on the front row next to Elliott Burns. Kyle Cheney on second row with Johnny Greaves in at 8:45. Greaves not with the best start, still holding on forward, but look at Cheney just jumping right into second.
It almost looks like a little bit of teamwork with 3 Can-Ams up in front.
Might be the case. There goes another pass. Johnny Greaves drops back a spot.
Johnny Greaves shooting to the inside. Now he's not going to be able to get at Cheney at this corner, but he's got to watch because he's got a handful of Can-Ams right behind him.
Oh, and somebody goes over big time.
That was Burns going over. So
who is that? It'd be crazy if it was CJ, but somebody literally was in the right place and just drove right around everyone.
Yeah, that was 808 Burns that went over. So hopefully they might go to a full course yellow. As you watch Burns come around here, all of a sudden he gets just a little bit of touch, and then over he goes.
Remember, Burns started on that front row. I mean, he was up there at the front, but he goes from first to worst in no time. So it looks like a full restart because they did not complete one lap. So even if that was CJ Greaves getting by on that outside, which I think it was, even if it was, it makes no difference. You're going to have to start the same way, minus Burns. He'll have to drop to the back of the field, even if he is ready to go.
Yeah, if you're the reason that they throw the yellow, you have to start in the back.
Yamaha Pace vehicle leads these UTVs, and so it'll be Tim Farr on the front row. Now it'll be interesting to see, do they move everybody up or do they give him solo front row? That'll be up to the USEC officials, and everything I say is officially unofficial.
Exactly. And what I say is officially, unofficially, usually wrong, but I say it anyways.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh, hey, those skies don't look as blue as they did before. I like how you said earlier you threw that qualifier right now.
Yeah, as right now, this is good.
We'll have to step outside our booth to really get a good view of this, but it looks like things are getting a little darker outside. Could get a little crazy for the big trucks.
Yep. Yesterday we moved the schedule up because we had rain on the forecast, but we were lucky. We got a couple little sprinkles in the evening, and it wasn't that bad. You can see how the far right side looks like a little bit of sun, but on the left, which is we're looking directly east at this point.
Yep.
Rocket Richie Kulop out there in the Yamaha Pace vehicle.
Is that really his nickname, Rocket?
No, I called him that because I like it. It sounds good.
I've heard him called worse.
Absolutely, but he's probably thinking, I'm winning. You know, I'm
leading this bad boy. I like this.
Somebody take a picture right now. I'm winning.
Oh, that's funny. And he's got his dune set up too with the flags.
Oh no, he's got the flags. He's got the America flags up there.
America.
And Richie, like I said, the whole Kulop family is such a strong supporter of TORC the Off-Road Championship. So, and look at the difference. The outside lane, no one used it, and the inside lane, everybody used it in the stock class. So they did not change it.
That'll be interesting. Does somebody try it? Or again, I noticed earlier in the short course carts, that outside line, when you have those guys who are just wide open for quite a while, like these guys are, it just doesn't seem to make much sense going that outside line. But things could change. The rougher that inside gets, why not?
I think that Johnny Greaves is going to be in a great spot because Burns is gone, and that opens up that outside lane. So you can see Johnny Greaves needs to start right next to Cheney. But now there's no Burns there. So what's going to happen is Johnny Greaves going to get the whole shot.
We've seen Cheney. You see him in the 891, the nearest to us on that second row. Right here, he gets the biggest launch of everyone. Look at him. He pulled Greaves by at least a full cart length.
Johnny Greaves deep in it on the outside, but Cheney holds it. Now who's going to get it out of the turn? And it is Cheney.
That XPS Can-Am really hooks up. And hey, Tim Farr did as well on his Can-Am. He's out in front leading this thing.
He handles down the straightaway. Farr's been very fast, but Cheney really high, but going to get a slingshot. Now is anybody going to stay to the right? Finally, someone does. You can see how deep these ruts are from the stock class, and you can see that with these small wheels, it really tears them up. And so the outside lane seems to be faster. So hopefully the spotters let these guys know, and Cheney to the lead.
Oh, and the Greaves also back there in third. A little endo at the end of those kickers. This is everything Cheney wants. He wants to be out in front. He wants his Can-Am buddies all around him, and he wants to keep Johnny Greaves behind him. He can actually let Johnny pass him. He can't have those drivers in between.
And I love the diversity in this. this, that it's not just a Yamaha, it's not just a Can-Am, but there's multiple cars.
Yeah, there's 7 Can-Ams in the field, 5 Yamahas, 3 Polaris. I mean, they're spread throughout, and you're looking at that battle. Can-Am afar, just in front of Johnny Greaves.
And Johnny Greaves was so fast. Last round winner as he shoots to the inside. Can he make a move on far?
No contact made, and Greaves, he knows he's got to still stay in that inside line.
But in my opinion, Johnny, get out of that roost, try that other line. There's nobody behind you. See if there's something there.
You didn't see what I saw in those short course carts, Ricky. I'm telling you, Rodney Van Emmer's son, Owen, literally he lost 80 yards that one time he took it.
Can't agree with you. When they are prepped the same, absolutely. But nobody used it in the stock UTV.
Oh, here we go.
Johnny Greaves looking to the inside far with a great run. The Can-Am with that centrifugal clutch seems to get off the corner a lot harder than the Yamaha, but the Yamaha has the top end because they can swap gears.
Oversteer and understeer there, and again, the points battle, it is what it is. Kyle Cheney says, if I win, I'm winning the championship. Period. No doubt. Exclamation point. And as long as Tim Farr is in second, it's even better. Where is CJ Greaves? He started outside the top 10 at 11th. CJ already up into 5th place. You see him in the back of the screen there.
But as we look at the time,
CJ takes the outside line. First time we've seen anybody do it.
And see if it works out for him. See, because the other guys are fighting through the ruts. CJ's able to stay out of the roost and have a cleaner run when it comes into this finish. So as he looks to the inside of Gordon, can he make it happen? No, that is not Gordon. That's Travis Pointer. So last year's champion, this is the last race that he gets to carry that #1 flag, and he wants, as we see CJ shooting to the inside, Travis, and he holds Travis off perfectly.
And Travis went outside, and it was an uh-oh moment because CJ was there. I mean, he could not make that adjustment quick enough. A lot of squat on that left side. I almost thought someone was broke. It almost looked like his nerf bars were digging in. He was putting so much power to the ground.
But the only one close to Cheney when it comes to lap times, he's got a 53.1, is CJ Greaves with a 53.8. That's still 7/10 off, folks, so he's got a ways to go. But Johnny Greaves is a complete second slower than Cheney, so he's got to keep his work up.
Fastest lap of the race, a 52.5. And that is Cheney, a 53.8. That's 1.3 seconds, Ricky. So that is a mile.
So Cheney right now, I'm suspecting if his spotter is talking to him, take it easy, save your vehicle, keep those belts cool, keep everything ready to go. But Johnny Greaves right now has to work on Farr first, so before he even gets to Cheney. But is Johnny saving himself for that second half? He knows that there's nobody right on his tail, but
I think he could save himself if he was in second. I don't know, you could save yourself back in third.
Well, you're going to get a shot at him, and you're going to try, because as you said, you want to be up there and have a shot and make Cheney nervous, but he does finally take the right lane.
Now let's see. We saw what he's about a full cart behind.
Look at the ruts and how deep they are on the left lane, and that is what the determining factor is. I totally believe that the left lane is faster when it's all equal, but it's not equal anymore.
Yeah, I think we're starting to even up. He might have lost just a tad, but again, a mistake by Cheney, and you're behind him. You're still not going to get by him. If you're on the opposite lane, it could make a difference.
As my dad said, you can't pass, son, if you follow. So you got to get out to one side or the other. But right now, Farr doing a great job, very consistent laps, very quick laps. He's about 9/10 slower than Cheney on that last time around, but Cheney keeps putting down the fast laps.
Hearing those power plants revving up, a lot of horsepower for such a small vehicle. And now I'm actually surprised Cheney hasn't tried that outside. When you have this much of a gap, don't you think his spotter said, go ahead and give it a shot, look one time to see what it's like, especially if it's smoother?
Well, but my shot guy, Jim Anderson, would say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right now, he's been running strong and running fast. Here we see the competition yellow. So Cheney right now with a pretty commanding lead, but that all goes out the window, and we start back up.
Yeah, we're at the halfway point. Cheney, Farr, Greaves, Johnny, that is, and then CJ and Pointer all up there in that top 5. Johnny will start behind Tim Farr. CJ's just behind Johnny, nose to tail. Travis Pointer in 5th, just behind those guys. So a 12-lap race, 6 laps are done. Kate Osborne?
Well, talking with Johnny before this race, he said that one thing he wants to focus on is obviously making the least amount of mistakes. That's clear. However, he knows that this caution is going to be important, and he needs to get out in front of Kyle, and said, I really hope CJ can get in there as well. Most importantly, I said, did Rodney give you any advice at all at this point? He said, Johnny, go fast.
Very well put. And you know what Johnny does well? Goes fast. Runs really strong. So once again, Rocket Richie Kuloff out in front in that Yamaha Pace vehicle, doing a good job. He's winning the race at halfway. That's joking. Yeah. Kyle Cheney has dominated this race from the beginning, and Farr has done a great job. Tim Farr started on the pole. Cheney made an aggressive move at the beginning, and Johnny Greaves has been close, but he hasn't been able to get close enough to make a move. And you can see that when these guys go slow, that rut is so deep that the undercarriage drags on it. So at certain times, the wheels are almost getting knocked off the ground.
And it'll definitely slow you down if that's the case too. You don't make contact with the wheels. And it's a little rough on the body too when that floor pan transmits that thud through your feet, through your back. Hey, an interesting race. We've already seen the Pro Stock UTV surprise there. And now, I don't know if it's a surprise with Kyle Cheney out in front, but Johnny Greaves in third, CJ Greaves back in fourth. Those two Yamahas need to do some magic and still need some help from probably one of the Can-Ams if a Greaves is going to win for Rodney Van Eperen. So what happened there?
Johnny Greaves stepping out a little bit, but he has to get right back in line. I think he was trying to anticipate the jump, but it did not work.
I think that he was kind of upset that Tim Farr was nowhere near Kyle Cheney when that acceleration zone went. Farr was laying way back. Johnny was not too happy because look at the differential it gave him. He had no chance. Oh, what a save.
Coming in deep, coming in hot. But, you know, I've been with Johnny Greaves, and what I love about him is what I kind of hated about him when I raced him. He's such a competitor, and he's not afraid to let you know at any point.
Is that CJ making the pass? We'll have to see the numbers. The machines look so similar, but I think, nope, that's still Rodney's number 845. It's still Johnny Greaves that's behind Tim Farr. But I noticed between the two Yamahas, they took different lines inside and outside.
You see Johnny Greaves on the outside trying to get a run at him, but he can't, and it's going exactly the way Cheney would like it to be. But Farr, you know, it looks like a little bit of team tactics, but you know what? We have that going with the Yamaha crew as well, so they can't get mad if the Can-Am's using team tactics too.
Hey, Tim Farr's flying right now, and nobody's able to really do anything. I don't know. Is that Travis? Who is that with the orange cage?
We apologize because our scoring is down, so we're trying to get everything back up online. We're trying to see who the different people are. I'm not exactly sure who that was. Right now on screen is Farr, Johnny Greaves, CJ Greaves. Johnny Greaves looking to the inside and just misses. CJ looking to the outside and then taken away a little bit. So now Johnny Greaves, we're starting to see him not get desperate, but he's starting to take bigger shots. So if he can get close enough to Farr, he's going to try to make a move on because it has to happen now if they want a shot, because everything can happen. We've seen it happen multiple times. So here comes CJ Greaves and Johnny Greaves. They're both trying to help out their friend and partner, Rodney Van Eperen.
I believe that's the 887 of Eric Gordon that's been coming Bonsai Willie a time or two right there in that orange. I don't know if he was upset or he's just driving that erratic, but a couple of times into that hairpin, you want to talk about haul and tail. And he's swapping around left and right. I can't tell if he's just, pedal to the floor or if it's just that erratic or what's going on.
Well, you're absolutely right. That's Eric Gordon in the Can-Am. A little trivia. Do you know what Can-Am stands for?
Canadian American.
There you go. Bam. Right there. Just like they had an Amex was an American Mexican motorcycle. Can-Am was something that the great Gary Jones was part of back in the day, Jimmy Ellis and stuff like that. But they've had a rebirth with snowmobiles, side-by-sides, and also ATVs as well. But this guy right now in the Can-Am is running such strong lines. Very strong.
Look at that. You saw it. Two guys getting together. Farr is trying to block every line that he can on those insides. I can't say I blame him there. Farr's on the outside. You see Greaves. Oh, big mistake by Cheney. Farr now trying to go to the outside. Look at these guys side by side. Driving hard. Is it a pass? Yes, for Johnny Greaves. Up that finish line. Eric Green still means go, but Greaves takes over position.
Watch Farr down, looking down the inside. If Johnny coming in really hot, does he gonna lose a little drive coming off? No, Johnny Greaves sticks the pass. Now, can he catch up to Cheney? If Cheney, in Cheney's world, he's got 2 laps left to go.
He's good.
No yellow flags, but Robbie, we've seen it multiple times. We get a car over, if we get a yellow, that puts them back together. So this race is not over because we have CJ Greaves in the mix as well.
But Cheney wants to put a stamp on it. He wants to win the race, win the championship, much like Luke Johnson did yesterday in the Pro 2-wheel drives. Because if Cheney even drops back or Johnny wins, he still needs help, Johnny Greaves does, to win it for his buddy Rodney Van Everett.
Anything can happen when you put this much talent up front. Farr's running really strong. CJ Greaves is back into the mix, and we have 2 laps to go. And with, I'm sorry, the white flag is out. Cheney has 1 more lap.
Can-Am XPS Oil CT Racework out of Ohio, and there's a pass trying to get by. Farr trying to go to the inside, but CJ drives around the outside. So again, Can-Am, Yamaha, Can-Am, but this is Kyle Cheney's race. But once I see that lapper there, I think mechanical. If you're a guy out in front trying to win a race, trying to win a championship, how many things do you hear in your head, Ricky?
Absolutely. Every gremlin, every little thing you hear, but Cheney is running an awesome race. He's running a good arc. He's setting it up. He's keeping his momentum going, and that Can-Am is running beautifulully. We saw Tim Farr. Something went wrong with him because you can see he's not in the mix anymore.
He hails from the Sunshine State of Florida with the JB Racing Maxxis Can-Am. Actually, if Tim Farr is going to help out as well, Kyle Cheney wins. The Can-Am of Kyle Cheney takes the victory in the race and takes the championship with it as well. And that is putting a stamp on it, Ricky Johnson. The XPS Can-Am showed that he was not only fastest here at ERX Motor Park, he's fastest in 2017 of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL.
Designed for your journey.
Maturo Trailblade Tires. The weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
Tires on the ground go round and round.
Are those thunderclouds? Because Kyle Cheney just brought the thunder in Pro Stock or Pro Mod UTVs here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. It's the Kenda final rounds, and the final round winner is a Can-Am driver, Kyle Cheney. And again, I'm sorry, I was throwing in Tim Farr's information because he was up in front for so much of the race, but an excellent race by actually everyone in there having to do what they needed to do. And Kyle Cheney not only proves he's fastest here today at ERX Motor Park, he proves he's the fastest throughout the entire season, taking the title here at ERX Motor Park.
Kyle, this was not only your race, this was your season taking home the championship. In addition to consistency, as you reflect on the season, what was the key to your success?
Just like you said, consistency. The Can-Ams are just consistent. I mean, every weekend they're always up here. I got to thank all my Can-Am teammates here, you know, whether you're on my team or not. You know, we always borrow parts off each other, and, you know, there's a lot of races I wouldn't have raced because I wouldn't have had the parts without everybody else. And, you know, thanks to my whole team, everybody that comes, you know, this is great. This was a really hard championship to win. We put a lot of work into this, and I'm super pumped to have it.
I think you said it well right there. It was a hard one to win, no doubt about it. Kyle Cheney taking home the championship in Pro Mod UTV.
Not only doing it for himself, but for the manufacturer as well. Johnny Greaves, CJ Greaves, and get a Johnny in that 845. That's Rodney Van Everett's number. He's a substitute driver after Rodney got hurt in a vet motocross race last week, doing a lot of damage. What a solid run out of him, Gordon. I talked about him crossing up, and when he watches the replay, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And Travis Pointer, that #1 plate, this is the last time he will wear that number going into next season. Let's go back down to Kate Osborne.
Yeah, this is a great one for Johnny to have been able to step in for Rodney Van Eperen. But Johnny, I know you gave it your best in that one. At this point, is there anything else you could have done left in that car here today?
No, I mean, the track was in perfect condition. Everybody was going fast, and, you know, we ran our lines, and, you know, I know his teammate moved over for him in the beginning, let him by, which is a good move on their part, and then his car was a little wide for me, so we had to work hard to get by him. And Kyle was running great, though. I don't think we had anything for him today anyway, so congrats to him, and, you know, he deserved that championship.
You know, Rodney, as well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're part of the sport, and we're glad you had Johnny there to take your ride for this point. Congratulations on the second place in the championship. For you, how difficult is it knowing you're sitting on the sidelines, but you have a guy like Johnny in the car running for you?
Well, I mean, I'd love to say that if I was out there, it would have been different, but it wouldn't have been, you know. I'm on the radio. I don't even know what to tell him because he's running the perfect lines, and, you know, they have a good setup. I ain't going to take anything away from them guys. We're giving them everything we got. We're running a normally aspirated engine against a turbo engine, and sometimes exiting the corners, you do see that. But, you know, I'm just happy to be here and still upright, and everything's going good. I got to throw a shout out to Yamaha, Yamalube, Power Sports 1, Maxxis, Method, Luke at Beyond Redline, Greaves Exhaust, Never Lift, Balin Buildings, my crew, my mom, my dad, Winky, Hutch, Chad, all the guys who helped me, my wife, my kids. I mean, we're going to come back. This is a hard one to swallow, but we're going to come back next year.
I think it's going to be a good offseason for you, Rodney. Congratulations, second place. And Johnny, good work out there for Rod.
And what it does is it comes down to that final race, and we knew this would be a tight points battle. And there was a chance, you know, coming into, especially when we had that makeup round a couple of days ago, there was a point where Rodney Van Eperen knew if he could take the bonus point with the, you know, qualifying, if he could just finish ahead of him every time, he would win the championship. That was not the case, and he's going to finish second by 8 points after 13 rounds have been complete. Let's go back down to Kate Osborne with CJ Greaves.
Yeah, that was tough for CJ Greaves. He had to make some big moves. He started like sit back in 16th or so, made his way all the way back up here. But it was challenging for you. How would you describe that race?
Yeah, you know, it sucks that there was that initial caution. I mean, they all gathered up there, and I made a great move on the outside and came out of it 5th. And I was like, all right, perfect. We're right in this right off the get-go. Got about 8 guys right off the get-go. So I was like, I don't know how much better we could ask for it. And then they go caution, and they never said complete restart, but I guess some people thought it was, and we got shuffled back to the back again. And from there, we didn't have as good as luck on that next restart, but we picked them off one by one. Here we are on the podium for 3rd. Them guys ran good up front. That's all we could do is come here, run as hard as we could. So got to thank all Rod's guys from Power Sports 1. This is his car, and they got it prepped and everything for me. All I had to do is jump in it. So hats off to them guys, Power Sports 1, Yamaha, Yamalube, all the Blue Crew guys, Luke from Beyond Redline, Maxxis Tires, Method Race Wheels, Fox Shocks, Monster Energy. We appreciate it. We're going to go back this winter and see if we can get a little more power to run against these turbo guys and see if we can beat them next year with an NA car.
3rd place for CJ Greaves, getting ready now for Pro 4.
Yeah, CJ talking about that NA car that's normally aspirated, doesn't have that turbo on there. TORC the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. Still a ton of racing to go here at ERX Motor Park.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by VP Racing Fuels, the official fuel of TORC, and by Aturo, the tire with the style you want and the performance you need.
Welcome back to everyone watching on TORCseries.com. I'll remind everybody, hashtag AskTORC. What? Isn't that our deal? Hashtag AskTORC if they want to ask us a question here at ERX Motor Park. And you can see in the background little poofy clouds, but right now it's still sunny skies. And excellent racing, and they laid some more water out there on the track as well. So our UTVs have completed their run. We're about to crown our second champion here with the official presentation in just a moment. But Ricky, let's talk about the Vision Wheel Bad Mofo Award, and you're the official money folder of TORC, the Off-Road Championship.
Got a little creative this time, and I thought, I'm going to go tall. So I just rolled them up. Didn't roll them up, rolled them out. And there you have it.
There you go.
Bad Mofo, $250. I said $250,000 yesterday, so I'm trying to motivate Vision Wheel to step it up for next year. But that was a verbal miscue on my part. Miss Tiffany Stone made sure that she let me know.
And all my
friends,
karma got her. She got sprayed.
Exactly. All my friends and crew are very quick to point out all of my verbal mistakes.
Like you did me today?
Yeah. Well, there was one. I had to jump on top of it. But no, let's get back to it. Bad Mofo Award, Vision Wheel. It's awesome that they put this together. Guys get $250 cash, get to take their crew out, get to take their family out, do something nice, and they have a piece of history. They are a bad mofo.
And the people that are eligible are the drivers you're going to be seeing here in just a moment, whether it be Pro 4, Pro 2, Pro Light. Those are the guys. The UTVs aren't necessarily eligible for our Bad Mofo Award. So keep your eyes, keep your ears open, and maybe let us know who you think should win. Go ahead and tell us at TORCseries.com or on Facebook. You follow us, Twitter, Instagram, hashtag TORC. And Kate Osborne, she wants to, she's immersed in the fans, and she wants to find out, what those questions are.
But do I look like a baller right now? Just look on camera.
You do. I'm wondering.
That's just how I roll.
Hey, it's the last stop.
It's going to be my new Facebook profile picture, just money.
I know there's
I'll be like Floyd Mayweather minus
I'll be like
couple
Floyd.
Millions.
I'll be like Floyd. You'll be like Mayweather. And there is a massage place right across the street from our hotel site, right there. $250. We can get the couples massage.
All right, Kate, what do you got for
couples
us?
Massage.
Oh, Floppy, if you go there, I want to know if you're using $250 to go get a massage. Anyways, we have a question from a gentleman named Chase Gear. I'm so sorry if I said your name wrong. Names are hard sometimes. Anyways, he wants to understand, how can a racer without funding for a race program become involved with TORC, even if it isn't behind the wheel? And I think I have some answers for him, but go ahead, guys.
I want to hear her answer.
Okay.
All right, what do you got for us, Kate?
How would you do it?
How would you get?
Well, if you don't want to be behind the wheel, right? You start out, you could be the mechanic. You could be working alongside our crew. Our crew does an excellent job here prepping this track, making sure that it's ready to go. We have people who are always looking for helping hands, so that's a good place to start. More importantly, this is a series. I mean, if I was on the outside, I'd want to be involved too. So of course, you get involved with teams in that way. If you can't have the funding, or you don't have the funding, or you don't want to be a driver. Gentlemen, what do you got?
I guarantee everybody wants to be a driver.
Yeah.
Trust
I
me,
want to be a driver.
I gave some rides that everybody says, I see why this is so much fun. Can I drive? And that's one way. But my wife's, I should say, our son, Luke Johnson, he wanted to be a racer and stuff like that, and he didn't. He wasn't blessed with a father, myself, with a bunch of money. They could just put him in wherever he wanted. So I said, if you want to be it, you got to be a little bit more like Scott Douglas and also Johnny Greaves, who Johnny grew up building trucks and doing all the different stuff. So he went to the Fab School out in Riverside,
and we're not talking
California.
about fabulous, like
No,
fabulous.
It's not fabulous school. It's
We're talking
it is pretty
fabrication
fabulous, but it's just the Fab School for fabrication. And even Dan, that's on his crew, that's where they met. They started a friendship, and Dan's been on his crew every year since then. But it teaches you how to be a part of the whole series. So what you learn is how to fix your own truck. Then you start with a buggy, maybe. You can buy a buggy relatively inexpensive, or go down and finance a UTV. The Polaris dealer or Can-Am dealer, Yamaha dealer.
Power Sports One, Rodney Van Emeren, he's selling them like crazy right now.
There you go, Rodney's got a deal for you. And come out and start racing that. And then someone sees you, and then you find some sponsors, and you start networking. If the driver route is what you want to do, if you just love the races, you want to be a part of a team and everything like that, I recommend doing something like the Fab School or the Mechanics Institute or something like that. That if you're good with your hands and you're not like our son Luke was not a 4-year college guy, this was the right route for him. His brother Jake and his Sister Cassidy, they were four-year college people, and that was good for them. But when it came to racing, Luke was bit by the bug. So learn how to fix them, then you get to race.
And also, if you don't have the money necessarily to go to that school, or that's not your thing, if you have a local racer, if you're in the Midwest, like the Midwest off-road racing, there's drivers out there, they would love that, because unfortunately, if you're a grunt or whatever, there's always something to do. You can always scrape off mud, but you also learn how to fix this, how to work on this, whether it be, fixing tie rod ends or anything, just the simple stuff that you may think, I got a good idea. Well, you become a better idea, and you can do it and measure. Everything, it really comes a lot easier when you're immersed into that.
And next thing you know, you're driving the Yamaha Pace vehicle and the Toyota Escondido Pace vehicle like Richie Kuloff. So if you love the sport, come and hang out. Come introduce yourself. And that's the great thing about the TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is you get to come out and you can walk right in the pits and go over and hand your resume to any team that's there.
Yep, and there you see the winners here in the champagne celebration. Now let's see if she learned anything. Let's look. There she goes. She just Johnny's going, what the heck are you doing?
But you know what? Kyle Cheney's got to be so stoked, because right next to him is the guy that has been dominant for decades and the current king of the TORC the Off-Road Championship, and he beat them both.
Are you talking about Johnny or CJ?
Johnny and CJ. Johnny's been dominant for decades, and the next generation is CJ, one of the young guns, who's been winning everything. And so Kyle, he's got to remember this and relish this moment, because you didn't just beat, a couple guys. You beat the best of the best. And I'll be honest with you, I said it before, I'll say it again, Rodney, I think you're faster than Johnny in that side-by-side.
Yep, and get well. We saw Rodney Van Epper just a moment ago, but what you didn't see was the hematoma that was on the inside of his arm, or the plated collarbone, or the punctured lung that he had earlier this week. So it wasn't just hurt, he was beat. All right, let's send it back down to Scott Rain, the public address announcer, with a presentation of our championship plaque.
Race fans, I got one thing to say to this young man right here. Welcome to TORC, Kyle Cheney, your 2017 Pro Mod UTV champion.
Kyle was just mentioning how heavy that was. Congratulations to you, Kyle. It's been a wonderful season for you, especially for Can-Am. I've been watching you all season long, just getting better and better and faster and faster. And you've finally taken that top spot again today, taking the championship, doing everything. Walk us through your entire season.
Well, we started out with a good built car. The handling and everything wasn't where it needed to be once we saw everybody else's cars and how fast the torque speed actually was here in the Pro Mod class. We made adjustments throughout the season. CT Raceworks built me a new car on, after them watching the videos, and they spent a lot of time on my new car, and we came out here with a new car. Fox spent a lot of time with me with our shocks. We got our shocks good, and it shows here at the end of the year where we've just been picking up speed every race, and they landed us here on the podium, all weekend and with the championship, and it got really tight here at the end yesterday or this morning when we were calculating the points. I knew I had to have the fastest qualifier, because if Johnny got it, then it was going to put the points too close, and if we'd have finished like we did yesterday, Rod would have won. And so I really busted out some pretty hard laps this morning in qualifying, harder than I've ever drove, and it paid off, and I was able to come out here in the race and just kind of run my own race, and here we are with the championship.
Well, you've done it here. Take that up, put it up there, show everybody what you're looking for, what you're working for, and what you got. Kyle Cheney taking that top spot, showing that consistency, get you that championship.
Consistency and speed for Kyle Cheney. Congratulations, 2017 Pro Mod UTV champion on that Can-Am. I say on that, but he was in that Can-Am.
That guy is
on the gas. As you see the fans there in the amphitheater portion, and to the right off in the trees, more fans in the shaded area. But yeah, bring your lawn chair. There's plenty of places. If you want to sit in the stands, you can do that. You want to sit on the grassy knoll, you can do that. If you want to sit off in the woods, you can do that. A lot of opportunities here. A 3-round event this weekend. Had to still finish off round number 4, which was postponed due to rain. And then we get into the Kenda finals, and that's today is the final day of the championship season. Looking at Mr. Weatherman Rick Johnson, there is weather out there, but it looks like it may be staying to the west, Ricky.
Yeah, it's staying. Well, and actually, yeah, it is staying to the west. We're looking out, and as you can see, we got this big weather surge, and I'll zoom in a little bit. We're that little blue dot right there. So we have weather, and we have little pockets of it. So
when we saw it off in the ground, that was it.
Yeah, that was definitely it. And it looks like we have some scattered showers, but to the west of us, over towards Fargo and stuff, they're getting nailed. So hopefully we miss it, but you never know. This is the Midwest, and things change.
So yeah, there was one little blip, so those were clouds up there. The bad stuff's actually behind us from those cameras. But yeah, if it stays to that left, we're all good, because we only have 3 more races to go in our season. So if that holds off, things are going to be good. And if it does decide to rain, things are going to get crazy, especially with the final race of the day being a pro 2-wheel drive race that a lot of guys looking for that final win of the season.
Well, there's been guys points racing and guys that haven't run the whole season. So I think we're going to see a very aggressive round, but I think it's going to be respectful. I think. But who knows? It's their drivers. You know, coming up next is the Pro 4-wheel drives. We see them down there. I want to throw a shout out to the Jenkins brother, Mark and Mike Jenkins. We miss you, and I know Mike. When you had that long hair, I said you had that Kenny Powers thing going. So bring that thing back, all right? I want to see some Jenkins brothers up here.
Hashtag free Kenny Powers.
Yeah, that hashtag bring back Jenkins is what I think we're going to do.
Both of them.
And because I know they still have some fast trucks laying around, and between the two of them, you know, obviously Mike is part of the family that runs the Traxxas RC cars, and they work with Keegan Kincaid and Jeff Kincaid, and they also gave our son Luke Johnson his break in Pro Light. After he lost the Red Bull ride, he came back and won for Mike Jenkins and Traxxas and stuff like that. So we'd love to see you back out here as a driver, as a sponsor, whatever you want to do. Come back and let's party. I hear that you got number 3 baby on the way, so congratulations on that.
Well, that's the one thing. When he raced, he'd really, the kids have, now that the kids are going to be getting old enough and see Dad race, it gives you that feeling like you're going to want to get them in a cart pretty soon.
Well, his older boy is probably ready to come out. He looked at buggies a little bit, but little Mikey is still a little small for that. We can strap him in.
Hey,
we can get a baby seat. We got a 2-seater.
He's just 2 years away from North Texas Cartway up near both of our houses. He's a fellow Texan, and I'll send him out there. I'll even find him a cart if he wants to do it.
Yeah, but coming up next, the Pro 4-wheel drives, and it's great because there's guys out there that I got to throw a shout out to Al Drews. I've known this guy and watched him all the way back in the soda days. He's been out here, missed quite a few races, but he was consistently in the top 6. And actually yesterday he broke into the top 5. So if you look at the different categories that we have, you have the different color codings that we have out there, and actually Al broke into the top 5.
There's your chocolate cake you were wanting to see. Yeah, good to see Al up there today, and we saw shots of that hillside as you see that crane over to the right and our compound to the right where they're selling all these food delicacies, the Barat, as they put it. It's funny, we see the sign, they got like capital B, capital R, and then little ATS, and we figured that
Borats.
There's a Barat or Barat.
Either sounds like a fictitious movie star or an ex-president.
Somebody side by side is in the wrong place. Somebody stole your battery.
And there's Al Drews right there. I love it. So, Al, let's break it onto the podium today. I want to see it happen.
The Toyota Escondido Pace vehicle leads Ross Hook out of the pit area over there. Scott Douglas just behind. We've got the number 2 of Keegan Kincaid, sponsored by Bass Pro Shops this weekend. As you see that Toyota Escondido Pace truck, and yeah, they laid down a fair amount of water here too, so it could be a fun race. And right there you see the Toyota just trying to rip around that outside and test the abilities of those tires on this wetter track.
Yeah, right now you see the track is absolutely perfect. The guys can throw it in really, really hard.
But the first race up today, when you see these drivers hit the track, these are the bad boys of the series. TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL, the Pro 4-wheel drives in 3 Pro Truck classes you'll be seeing today.
And what I love about the pro four-wheel drivers, there's not a vehicle that you can drive more aggressive. I know you think sprint car, you think rally car, but you can't jump a sprint car or rally car, anything like you can do a Pro 4. So you can drive more aggressive than any other vehicle. Tons of horsepower, tons of suspension, and also that Project Tire.
Project Tire makes a big difference as well. They personally groove it to their specifications. They look like a slick, and they cut it the way they want it to be. Find your favorite driver. It's going to be Scott Douglas. He'll be on the outside of turn 1. Ross Hook inside of him. Keegan Kincaid on the second row next to Johnny Greaves and the other Toyota of CJ Greaves. And starting in the 5th spot, Al Drews, Brad Lamarche signing up for this race. Drews, you see him in the red and yellow machine. Lamarche back there in the back. Ross Hook with a good start. Takes that inside, drifts wide, puts some power to the ground. That automatic transmission hooking up.
Yeah, he's got that ATD transmission. Here we see Scott Douglas looking to the inside, banging on Johnny Greaves hard as it sends Johnny way off to the side. But Ross Hook very high. Is he able to pull it off? He's going to have to take the right lane.
So I thought that time both of the guys got into each other, but it looked like, I don't know, the 7 was on that inside. He was really wanting to force the issue early on.
Scott Douglas with a little bit of swap, and here comes Keegan Kincaid in that Bass Pro Shops Ford. So he's now up to 3rd place with the Toyotas, back in 4th and 5th.
Hear that horsepower, at 900 horsepower for Scott Douglas. Oh, and he hits a little bit of a push there. Loose is when the back end wants to come around, and something's just not quite right with the 7 right now because Ross got into the back of him.
Well, we've seen, look at the blue group. So the guys have to run high. They can't go down where they normally go. So the track is a lot different than we saw yesterday. Yesterday you could drive pretty much anywhere. Now you have to use the cushion again.
Yeah, the last round was the last round, and that number 2 truck back in 3rd. One stop number 12. Look at him banging just like we expected. CJ Greaves, that mutant energy. Toyota moves up to 2nd place now, and Kate talked to him. He was more pissed off about that 2nd place than being happy about the 6 wins here at ERX.
Exactly. We see Scott Douglas. Something happened to him. He's now slowing down. So, as you said, something made him pull him off to the side. Now he's going to stop. Hopefully he rolls that and does not go to yellow. But CJ Greaves going from the back all the way to the front.
I could be wrong, Ricky, but I think something happened to him even on that first lap. Something just didn't look right. I mean, it was too much off and on for Scott Douglas.
Well, he might have trouble with the transmission. He is one of the guys with the manual in that truck, so he might have missed a shift and chipped a gear. Who knows what it could be, but right now it's all about CJ Greaves, and the guy who beat him yesterday, Keegan Kincaid, is on top of him.
Scott Douglas moves into the pit. You see 4 drivers, 2 taking the left, 2 taking the right in the split section.
Something happened going with Scott Douglas, but he is now back under power, so he's going to have to wait till the competition yellow before he can catch back up to these guys, but he does not want to go down a lap.
We talk about the young guns of TORC, and you may follow them on the YouTube, on the channel, that new show called Young Guns. And guys like CJ Greaves, they are young. They are into the sport at 22 years of age, a multi-time champion. Keegan Kincaid, he's only 27 years old as well. Right now you see them 1 and 2, and they race each other. I mean, they give each other so much room. I mean, they are racers.
Well, but I talked to Keegan yesterday, and he was saying about, we start off with so much respect, and someone pushes a little bit, the next guy pushes back, and then they punch, and the next thing you know, it's a full-on brawl. And that's what's hard with those guys is the roost. As you can see, now Keegan pulling off to the side. He actually got blinded for a moment, and now he's backing away. So the roost very, very heavy through that split lane.
I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, they built up that wall in between to try and help from that roost, but I mean, he got shot. I mean, good thing he had a headrest behind him, or it drove his head backwards. Kate Osborne?
Keegan Kincaid this morning, I will tell you, had a different air about him. He was cool, calm, and collected, and on a high after winning in round 12. He did say that he knows how both Johnny and CJ race. Johnny's a bit more aggressive. CJ races more like him, and he said, honestly, CJ and I respect each other, and we race each other the way we want to be raced, and I'm excited to get out and battle him today.
Perfect 1, 2, 3, and 4 for that matter. Ross Hook not too far behind as well. But we'll have that competition caution after the 7th lap is complete, of 14 for the trucks. But you're right, 2 different driving styles. But, you have Johnny back there, and he's only aggressive a lot of times as he needs to be. But then again, we saw him out in front at the last round, push the envelope a little bit too much, all by his lonesome.
He pushed the envelope a little bit too much, like about 70 feet when he jumped way too far down the hill. And you know what? I'm not casting any stones. He just overjumped and came in a little bit hot because remember, he just stepped out of a UTV mod cart, so the letting off the throttle and the gas and the weight is completely different. But right now, CJ Greaves, watch how aggressive he is in the corner backing it in. Normally we see CJ really tight, but now that the way the track is it's got a lot harder base underneath it where they brought in all that clay. You have to drive more sideways, and that's what CJ is doing, is adapting to the dirt.
Those guys having to work that wheel in that split section, aren't they? Unlike maybe a smaller wheelbase truck where they kind of get locked into that rut. These have so much horsepower and all four wheels are clawing. They're fighting in and out of that rut.
But they are, and that's where you can sometimes let off, just like when you're getting stuck in the snow or in the sand or whatever, you roll off and let the wheel catch up a little bit to help keep that vehicle straight. So it's hard when you're racing to realize that sometimes to let off, you go faster.
Thought I heard something out of that truck, didn't sound quite right. And you know, the biggest problem for Keegan Kincaid in a brand new truck for 2017, they came into that first round literally putting the side panels on everything, you know, buttoning that truck up at the first round. His biggest issue has been power steering. He's had a loss of power steering probably half of the races this year. Well,
but let's look at the times, Robbie. We see that Keegan Kincaid had a faster lap than CJ Greaves last time with a 49.5 to CJ's 49.7. So 2/10 quicker, and now we're at the competition yellow.
But that means we're only 7 laps down, 7 more still to go. CJ Greaves leads Keegan Kincaid, Johnny DeGreaves, and you know Ross Hook back there in 4th, not too far behind. That start is going to be critical when we return.
Designed for your journey.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
There's CJ Greaves in front of the only man that has ever beat him in a pro truck. Keegan Kincaid in 2nd place, right behind, 7 laps down, 7 more to go, and he's going to push him to that start. CJ with a good jump on that one. Keegan got a little squirrely. Johnny Greaves closing in. CJ's dad back there in 3rd. You see Ross Hook in 4th, and Johnny putting the pressure on. What does he do here as they head into that sharp left-hand hairpin?
He's going to shoot to the inside and just try to do a block pass.
Oh, backs it in hard. Johnny, what a line. Didn't make contact until the exit.
Exactly, and that's where I think that helped him out to open up that entry to that split lane. We see Keegan eating a mouthful, also having to check up. It's so hard and so rough through there that the guys can't see.
What a massive hard landing it was for Johnny Greaves. He landed hard on the right front on this jump at the last round, but it actually hurt something in the rear.
Exactly, and so that was what took him out of the race yesterday, and so now can he catch his son, CJ Greaves?
Listen to the horsepower. That's throttling that Toyota through there in 1st and 2nd, putting the power down the ground. And this is a different motor than they had last year. Kate Osborne, do you have more?
Remember, this might be a different motor than they had, but Johnny Greaves and Keegan Kincaid right now are running for second place in the championship. He mentioned of Keegan, he knows he's a clean racer, and he doesn't have a different mindset than he would if he was racing CJ. However, he did say also that CJ is so methodical, this track suits him well. So right now as he's chasing him down, he knows that is in the back of his mind.
That's true. Johnny Greaves sits in second right now, and if he stays ahead of Keegan, Johnny will take second in the championship behind his son CJ. But I talk about the trucks. In Pro 4, they changed the classification a little bit as far as what they can and can't do, how much RPMs. Both Johnny and CJ used different Toyota motor packages last year. One twisted harder than the other.
Exactly, but now they're both running that max cubic inch and then also that limit. And now we see Keegan coming and taking a shot back at Johnny. But this is, as we were talking, this is for second place in points. But if Keegan beats Johnny, that's going to put him at a tie.
Right.
But Johnny has more wins, so that'll give him. So Keegan has to get in front and win, and that could make the difference.
Right, but right now he's still got to get by Johnny Greaves. And Johnny knows the scenario. He wants to stay in front of him. Keegan wants to get by him. Again, Keegan Kincaid, the #2 Bass Pro Shops on the side of his truck now, and he's going to get a good drive, but he'll be set up on the outside. But as long as he gets a good drive down that straightaway, I think he's okay.
Yeah, he gets a good run over there. Johnny jumps a little bit deeper into the cushion. Keegan looking underneath, but he can't do anything because he's in a spot. So what Keegan needs to do is hopefully get the car turning, then shoot to the inside. So sweep wide, shoot underneath him. But Johnny was right there.
He's not a tractor, he's a plow right there.
Well, what Johnny was basically doing was giving the option, go behind me or stay behind me, or go around me. And then you see Johnny with a really hard jump, but Keegan truck is working very, very good. They've done a lot of work on the suspension. Actually, a little bit more bounce than Johnny's at this point.
I like the way that Keegan looks. Although he's in third, he looks pretty darn racy, but he has to do something different and/or a mistake from Johnny Greaves. But pulling away is CJ Greaves, that Mutant Energy Soda, Maxxis tire entry. Nice, smooth downside by both of these drivers.
Well, Johnny and Keegan are running very close at times, but it's CJ that's at least a half a second quicker than them and slowly pulling away.
The fastest lap of the race does go to Keegan Kincaid. That last lap on lap 10, he did have the fastest lap of the race.
Well, everybody favoring this side, and that's where I said yesterday I was hoping that they would get rid of the split lane because this is what I didn't want to see. Everybody favoring one lane. But we might have to wait until next year, and I love that, how hard Keegan can go through those bumps completely sideways and it stays balanced. So the engineering that Jeff Kincaid and Keegan put into that is doing great.
2 laps to go, lifting that left rear up off the ground. And it's a beautiful thing listening to these motors, listening to these power plants, knowing that all 4 wheels are just clawing at the earth. Johnny told me 2 days ago that this is a track that suits CJ perfectly. That smooth driving style of his just flowing with the track, and so far that's been the case every time he's been here.
But Johnny and Keegan were faster that lap, so I agree with you. I agree with Johnny that this totally falls into CJ's driving style, but right now the fastest truck on the track is Johnny Greaves catching CJ.
Do you split your chances as they head to take the white flag for the final lap of this Pro 4-wheel race? We talk about the tires and opening them up. Did one of these guys set their truck up for it to be a little harder at the end? Does somebody have a little something that we haven't seen the first 13 laps?
Keegan makes a hard run, and this puts Johnny in a tough spot. Now when he comes over, he's going to have to pinch the inside. That's going to give Keegan a little bit more to shoot down underneath and try to get the exit on him, but he cannot make it happen at this point.
If he could have stayed outside of him as they made that right-hand turn, it would put him on the inside here. But that's not the case. But look at Keegan. He goes in. He does throw it in there. He backs it in. Johnny's stuck on the outside. Has nowhere to go. Watch this drag race. Where does Keegan go? He's stuck on the right. Watch this race to the end. CJ Greaves is going to win this race. But who's going to finish second? CJ Greaves with the win. And unofficially, it's going to be Johnny at the last second. What a race. CJ wins in his Toyota, Johnny in second, and Keegan swaps around there for third. But you talk about hammering it till the very end.
Well, some people might, they haven't watched this, think, oh, that's dirty. No, that's racing. It's last lap. The gloves are off. Give it all you got. Great job to CJ, Johnny, and Keegan. That's the kind of racing we love to see.
They kept fighting till the bitter end, and CJ Greaves wins Pro 4 here at ERX.
When it it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
As the crew heads out to meet their drivers, what a race in the Pro 4-wheel drives. And yeah, CJ, I don't know if he backed up to the field a little bit or if it was Johnny and Keegan that actually moved their way up towards CJ. But coming down to the very end there, that left-hand turn, kudos to Keegan Kincaid. He threw it in there in that left, just like Johnny did to him, and it really kept Johnny on that outside with nowhere to go.
Well, but Johnny was able to work his way back in and work. But that was great racing. We want to see it. He wasn't trying to take him out. He was just trying to forcibly move him out of the way. So and it didn't bicycle him the way he hit him. It was pretty much a door-to-door. So great job by everybody.
"13 rounds of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL, are now complete for Pro 4-wheel drives, and CJ Greaves has won 8 of them and takes the Pro 4 title with it. Congratulations, CJ Greaves. He wins here at ERX Motor Park.
CJ, you've won 3 Pro 4 championships now. How does this Pro 4 championship and your season as a whole rank among the others?
Well, this is one of the toughest seasons we've had so far in Pro 4. We're usually known for the guy of Mr. Consistency, and this year I think we either won or was off the podium maybe other than once or twice. So we definitely had our ups and downs. I can't thank Devin and Brad and my dad enough. I mean, these guys work their butts off day in and day out in that shop, and whether it's giving ideas for my truck or giving ideas for my dad's truck, it never stops. I mean, Brad and my dad figured out the last change we did to this truck that made it so great, and anything we can do to help my dad, we definitely do, and we just exchange information all the time. So them guys work their butts off. This goes out to them, all my crew, everyone that helps out on this team. It's not done by just my dad and I. This whole crew is what makes us where we are today. So really can't thank them guys enough. All the guys from Mutant Soda, Monster Energy, Maxxis Tires, Method Race Wheels, Toyota. These engines are killer, man. I don't know what more I can ask for. And just everyone that helps us out, we appreciate it. And we're going to keep our head down in the off-season and hopefully come back with a better truck next year.
CJ Greaves definitely attributing his successes to his team. Congratulations, a 3rd Pro 4 championship under his belt. Yeah, 3-peat for the golden boy there, CJ Greaves, the blonde monster. And you look at the unofficial results, and it's very important. And he did make his truck faster throughout the year. And a change after Crandon really kind of helped him, or during Crandon really helped him for this stop. And he went more to the setup of his dad, Johnny Greaves, who finishes 2nd in the race, and that should give him 2nd for the championship, Kate. Not a bad takeaway for Johnny Greaves. 2nd in the race, 2nd in the championship, but more importantly, that final lap with you and Keegan, racing clean. Looked like a lot of fun, some drag racing. How are you motivating yourself that last lap, knowing what was on the line?
I tell you what, I'm getting old because I was at the yellow. I was about out of steam. So, but no, these guys are running hard, and I just had to pick up the pace. And when I got by him at the yellow, I knew. I mean, he needed to beat me to get that 2nd place away from me, and I knew he would push hard. And we went into that last corner, and I figured he'd come sliding up in there, and we went door to door, and I just kind of waited for him to clear and shoot back to the inside. And the inside's a little better as long as you get a run. So I knew once I cleared him off of that, I just had to make the turn. So it was exciting. It was fun. I would say it was fun. Great season for Greaves Motorsport. Congratulations, both CJ and Johnny.
Yeah, Ricky, that inside move by Keegan Kincaid, as you see the championship points after all 13 rounds have been complete. Keegan knew what he needed to do. He ran it on the inside, but unfortunately couldn't stop that momentum, and it got him wide. Johnny dove to the inside and took 2nd. But Keegan Kincaid, a hard-fought battle to the very end. He takes 3rd today, Kate. And he took 3rd today in championship and in the podium. But, you're still smiling. What were your takeaways here this season? It's a big season for you.
Yeah, we from the first race to this race is it's huge. We came out here not knowing what was going to happen, and You know, we were way off at the beginning, and my team worked hard all year long. I think harder than we've ever worked. And Johnny and CJ, they're just tough to beat, and it was fun all year long. You know, when we were battling with them, Crandon here, and it was a fun battle. I enjoy battling with those guys, and I look forward to many more. And but I can't thank Bass Pro Shops, True Timber, Cooper Tire, Amsoil, Traxxas, Vision Wheel, all those guys that stuck behind me in the tough times at the beginning of the year. And I was kind of down on myself as well, and but we're here, and I'm excited the way we ended, and I feel like we're really close, and we'll give these guys a run next year and hopefully be on the top spot more often.
We'll see you then. Keegan Kincaid.
New truck, a third place finish in the championship, not too bad for the Bass Pro Shops driver, Keegan Kincaid. There's the Pro Light drivers. They're lined up. They're coming up next here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by Amsoil. It's the Kenda final rounds.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper. An American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by Vision. From high-speed desert racing in Baja to short course carnage, Vision has arrived. And by Maxxis, built for adventure.
Welcome back to the TORC Series, the Off-Road Championship. We are at ERX Motor Park in Elk River, Minnesota, about 60 miles north of Minneapolis. And as you can see, the day is perfect. But what you don't see just off to the west of us is a lot of stormy clouds, a lot of stormy weather. But at this point, it's been holding off. And as you can see, they're working on the track and they're breaking down that edge. And so what we saw from the UTVs is that it got really slick and kind of not really one line, but a very slick groove and blue groove. And now you see that you can see in the back the blade, that Caterpillar blade running at full speed backwards, and what they're going to do is keep knocking it down. And as they bring in the tractor, they're going to start breaking up that soil so that it gets more ruddy and racy. But it's great the first couple laps because the guys can throw it in there really hard and it doesn't go from slick to tacky and want to throw you over. That'll happen a couple laps into the race as we start to build a cushion and lean on it. But at the beginning of the race, it's a very consistent surface, and also you're able to go out there and lean on that cushion and lean on that dirt. So right now the Caterpillar equipment, I mean, they're making it perfect, Robbie.
Welcome everybody inside our luxurious booth here at ERX Motor Park. Ricky Johnson, Robbie Floyd, and a lot of money. Cash money, player. Check it out. I'm a bad mofo. Vision Wheel bad mofo. So take that's case line. Bad Mofo Award by Vision Wheel, and who's going to win it right now? After looking at the Pro 4-Wheel Drive, and they're the first eligible recipients. Who would you say the clubhouse leader is right now for this $250?
Oh man, Johnny Greaves fought hard. Keegan fought really hard, went for it, but at this point I got to give it to CJ Greaves because he came from the back.
Yeah,
he was the point leader. He passed everybody, and then he threw down the last when he needed to, drove completely sideways coming into the corners and very smooth when he needed to. So he drove the track the way it needed to be, and sometimes when you're doing stuff that right, it just looks easy, but trust me, it is not easy. He's making corrections so ahead of schedule, and projecting sometimes 100 feet coming into the corner and planning his moves, sometimes a couple hundred feet. So at this point, I'm going CJ Greaves.
And that's a good point there. And as you mentioned, he had to work his way from 5th place to 1st. Will he get the Vision Wheel Bad Mofo Award? We'll have to find out at the end of today's show. We'll step aside for just a bit, and we'll come back with some exciting racing. The Pro Lights coming up next.
Designed for your journey.
Maturo Trailblade Tires. The weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
The Caterpillar doing their job. You see that inner marker, that hairpin left-hand turn, probably the most pivotal turn, one of the most pivotal turns of the season. I mean, you look at everybody, every particular track has its one place, one marker, like it might be Crandon, that first turn, knowing you have to keep it pinned and setting up down that straightaway. Or is it the tree turn at Crandon? Or is it the Argonne turn? Or you think at Bark River? Where would be your Bark River biggest pivot point turn? Where would it be?
I'm going to have to say it's going to be either the cemetery turn or it's going to be the turn that right before the finish line where you got the whoops, because you have the what they're going to call the start line right, the switchback left, tabletop. That whole section is kind of one. If you put the first part together, it all falls into your lap. But a lot of guys get protective there, and that opens up for a pass on that last turn.
Okay, we're seeing the left-hander after the finish line, I believe. Yeah, that's where that is. Okay, let's move on to another track. Crandon, where do you think the most pivotal turn is?
Pivotal turn in Crandon is going to be the start line turn. You run so hard. That's the
leading
fastest.
Into the start or the actual first turn?
The leading into the start. Turn one, once you get it going, you have to have some guts to hang it, to hold it wide open there through there. But it sets up, and a little bit of ground can be made or lost there. But when you come down into
after Argonne and back up the hill,
after Argonne and back to the long straightaway, that's a place where you got to be on point. So CJ's like, where's mine?
And now you see Tiffany running. Oh, CJ's got another target.
Oh, he's going to spray his crew.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going down. That was the case.
A good thing we got a group shot of them shooting the champagne.
Yeah. And you see the sparkling apple cider being shot throughout the venue there. And you talked about it, how sticky that is. And it's the last time we'll see those three drivers race today. But one thing I noticed, Ricky, before we do our presentation for our championship, for those of you who've been watching on TORCseries.com, we had our Pro Stock UTV winner win the championship.
Yep.
We had our Pro Mod UTV winner today.
Yep.
Win the championship. We had our Pro 4
champion
race winner win the championship. As we head to the Pro Light, who's going to win that one? Because we already know Kyle Kleiman is going to win the championship. So I think it's in Kyle Kleiman's favor. And it doesn't hurt that he won the last round.
Well, but he's got a very aggressive driver who loves being up front, and that's Andrew Carlson. Every time we've seen him get clean air, he's been a very hard guy to beat.
Something to look forward to in the Pro Lights coming up here in just a bit. Let's send it down trackside. Mr. Scott Rain with a championship presentation of our Pro 4s.
Race fans, let's now meet our top Pro 4 driver for 2017. In the last 3 years, there's been nobody better in Pro 4 in the country. And this young man has done it 3 years straight. Your third straight Pro 4 champion, CJ Greaves.
That's right, just like you were talking about, CJ, 2015, 16, now 17 year. You've done it 3 times in a row. What does this mean to you than anything else?
Yeah, like I said, Devin and I struggled with this truck for a long time, and we never gave up on it. And we've been known for Mr. Consistency the whole time. And this year we didn't have it. I think my dad was more consistent than we were, but we were able to get a little more wins than him and a little bit more luck. So it happened to work out. But we're definitely going to keep moving forward, work hard all off season. I mean, you're only the champion until 2018 starts, and then you were the champion. So we're going to keep working hard, moving forward, and definitely come out swinging next year.
CJ's already excited for the 2018 year. Nice job.
I can't wait for it as well. And the 2018 season is not too far down the road, at least in my mind. There's only 365 days in a year. And again, watch or tune in on the web, TORCseries.com, and find out when they post the schedule for 2017. As you see the pro lights entering the track, and who's going to win this one. This should be pretty exciting because this is the final race of the year, and there are so many drivers that want to win this class. The championship, that is the Kyle Kleiman in that Ponzi 42. He has been the dominant racer so far in 2017. Can he finish off with 4 race wins in a row, as far as he won round 10, round 11, round 12, but can he win round 13? There they are. They're the pro lights. We drop down the horsepower, back it down on the suspension a bit. They weigh a little bit less, but they are a ton of fun, and these guys know how to battle, especially here at ERX Motor Park, just about 30 minutes outside of Minneapolis. And Ricky, this is a fun class, not necessarily a bitter class, but it is a development class for the Pro 2 and Pro 4.
You can read the class description, but driving these vehicles, you have to be on point because they are so narrow and very tippy. So it's a great place for a driver to learn how to be up on the bicycle. They don't have a ton of horsepower, so you got to carry a lot of momentum. And they also have the smaller DOT tire, so they get great traction, but it's not a big wide tire like the Pro 2 and Pro 4.
Talk about CJ Greaves and his 8 wins. Kyle Kleiman right there on the road 3. He's going to be the 2017 champion. He already has 9 wins. He's looking for his 10th win in 13 races. Let's see how it plays out. Look for the 151 of Andrew Carlson. He's going to start outside pole. This is his home track. He lives literally here at ERX. And it gets squirrely.
Gets a little bit squirrely because they watered it, trying to get some water down, but Chad Raper with a great hole shot. Sean Morrison to the inside, and now here comes Cam Reimers.
Chad Raper, clean sailing. He can take whatever line he wants. Hanging in tight there. That's a smart move by Carlson. Contact. Cody goes on the outside. I think Kyle might have got into him. He gets into, somebody goes into the berm and almost goes over. He backs it up and goes.
That was Matt Sorek.
I can't believe Matt is just more bad luck for Matt Sorek.
Well, what happened is Sean Morris got wide and then came back in, and now we see Andrew Carlson shooting to the inside. There was a little bad blood between these two drivers before, and now we see Andrew Carlson coming in with a very clean move around the inside.
You can't take it much tighter than that, but now you're going to have the 29 of Chad Raper, that Kenda Tire entry. He's on the inside, and he shoots out. It's slippery, though, early on. They just laid water down, Ricky.
And that, what we've seen is these two drivers love clean air because the roost is so heavy here. Now we see Andrew Carlson looking to the inside. Can Rayford hold that inside? Oh, he bounces and he loses it, and that pushes him a little bit wide.
Now, we had a feature in our last show, and we heard Andrew Carlson talk about how patient he was and how he waited for things to happen in his snowmobile career. That's not necessarily the case in the truck, but the most aggressive guy right now is the 42 of Kyle Kleiman.
Kyle Kleiman came from the 6th position. He's the point leader at this point, and now he moves into 2nd, but he's got Andrew Carlson on his hands. Andrew on the outside. What's going to happen on this hairpin?
I was just about to give kudos to Andrew Carlson because he does look like a different driver. That was an excellent move.
Yeah, it came out came wide. Now this is just good, clean racing. He's pushing him out a little bit because he's trying to protect that line, but Kyle Kleiman looking for the inside. Now he decides, I'm going to go out to the cushion and try to take another run at a very, very smart move by Kyle Kleiman.
Between both of these drivers as well, because you can force contact. You can make yourself bang into the other truck, but we're seeing over and under moves with no contact this time.
Well, and I agree with what these guys are doing. It's only lap 2, so don't take each other out and beat each other up. Get out in front. If someone's got to run, let them go. But when it comes last lap, that's when you get your elbows out and let's get gritty.
What an excellent move and a crossover move for Kyle Kleiman. Watch him here, outside, squares it up to the inside. It's going to be a drag race up to the flagging stand. This is your defending race winner. He won the last round. Now he's on the inside. This is a great head-to-head matchup.
And Andrew Carlson did this in the last lap, shot from the outside to the inside. He tries it again, but Kyle Kleiman makes it stick.
Sean Morris, we've been told, is in the hot pit. He's trying to not go a lap down. Now you see Carlson dive to the inside. At the last round, that was his moneymaker. That's where he made all those moves.
But what I like is that I saw him completely lock up the brakes to not completely door Kleiman. So Andrew Carlson's thinking about the finish as well. And right now, we still have a lot of racing to go. But Chad Rayford being very clean, very fast, and right now matching Kyle Kleiman's time at a 53.7.
Appleton, Wisconsin's own Chad Rayford, Kenda Tire, Amsoil Flying Dutchman off-road. You see him in that red Kenda entry, but Kyle Kleiman has been the fastest with 9 wins this season. He will be the champion. He will have that #1 plate in lights. But word is he's moving into the Pro 2-wheel drives next season. But you want to end your career on a high note. He wants to get by so desperately.
And that last lap was so strong. Kyle Kleiman with a 53.0 to Chad Rayford 53.9, almost a complete second. So Kyle Kleiman is doing exactly what he's done all year long.
Chad Rayford going over that big jump that cost him, 2 years ago, probably the biggest wreck we've seen in TORC in the past several years. So you know he thinks about it every time he probably goes up there. But look at it, looks like synchronized swimming. 1, 2, 3, and now 4th place, Cody Kleiman sneaking in the picture.
Well, what I liked, what I'm seeing from Kyle is that he's setting up early, and Chad Rayford is waiting a little bit too long to set it up, and that's killing him through the middle and on the exit. And the same thing here. We see Kyle Kleiman shooting to the inside.
I see heat. I see water being pushed out of Rayford's truck. That truck's starting to get a little bit hot and starting to push that water out.
As we look, we don't know if that was dirt coming on, but now we see Kleiman looking to the inside.
Let's go to Kate Osborne.
Remember, in round 12, Chad Rayford had a heck of a rollover, and they had to do a lot of changes on that truck to get it ready for round 13. That could be an issue that he's dealing with right now. We'll find out in a bit. But he did say he did get a lot of confidence out of round 12 because he knew he was fast, and before that big crash, he was running 4th.
You're absolutely right, Robbie. Right when he comes in and he lets off, so the pressure change when he lets off the throttle is pushing some water out right behind the cab. So if you look right behind the driver's head, you'll see in certain spots when Rayford lets off the gas, you'll see a little steam come up as he comes in here. Right there, you can see the little steam patch coming up, but then when he gets on the gas, it speeds up the propeller inside the motor and it pulls it back down.
The one thing he doesn't want is you see the Kenda fiberglass being thrown out. That's just cosmetic. The one thing he doesn't want is to get in the roost of Matt Sorek, because if he clogs up those radiators, it'll just make things even worse for him.
Well, yeah, this is where you got to be complimentary of Matt Sorek. You know, he got into it early with Sean Morris, and that kind of messed him up. But he's not going to, hinder the race of these guys. He's going to let them go.
Driving out hard, there's Carlson in 3rd place again. We're not at the halfway point. They will get the yellow and red flag the next time around for the competition caution. I like also what Kyle Kleiman does when he's really close and makes the opposite decision of the driver in front of him, just waiting for that mistake. But no mistake so far for Chad Rayford. We know the truck's getting a little hot. Can he hold on? Because 7 laps will be complete. We still have 7 more to go here in the pro lines. But Kyle Kleiman, the 2017 champ, it's already been determined. It's right behind him. Andrew Carlson, a hometown boy, in 3rd. And Cody Kleiman, a podium finish at the last round, in 4th, knocking on the door.
When it comes to guarding your engine, Amsoil offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
An enjoyable Pro Light race already, and we still have 7 more laps to go, and it's a tight one. And I talked about Cody Kleiman sneaking in there into 4th into the picture, but for whatever problems that Cam Reimers had in the first half of that race, he's going to be in 5th, nose to tail, and we know he can work his way up through the pack as well.
Well, we've seen Cam, and he's had a lot of gremlins this year, a lot of little things that have kept him out from winning. He definitely would like to put a W in that column, but Chad Rayford is the guy in the catbird seat at this moment.
Yeah, I think Reimers had water pump or something affected him. So when he
had his
landed,
fans.
Yeah, and had problems. You just can't believe the bad luck he's had in the Liquid Ridge 21. The 39-year-old Chad Rayford in the number 29 Kenda entry leads Kyle Kleiman and Andrew Carlson 1, 2, and 3 as we restart the second half of the Pro Light race here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. We're in Elk River, Minnesota, the final stop for 2017. Look at the race for second. Andrew Carlson, I don't know why Kyle Kleiman didn't want to land on that downside and short jumped it, but it may cost him.
Well, but this puts Kleiman in the right spot, and now we see Cody Kleiman looking straight up the inside. So look for a double pass here.
Bing, 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 ricochet rabbit.
they all get bounced around, but Kyle Kleiman takes the outside line, and now Andrew Carlson strongly in 2nd place.
I think Carlson's going to do it. Oh, a little over rotation there, and Cody's starting to stick his nose in the picture. Now, let's talk about the driver, the yellow outside number 42. He's won the championship. Now he's just really trying to get another victory. He gets into Carlson just a little bit, but he lets him go.
Exactly. Well, let him go, or just happen to come in.
He could have brought him
Andrew
around.
On the inside now, you see Andrew kind of does a double break, which is a great move because that prevented Kyle from shooting underneath him, but that puts Kyle on the inside to do the same move to him that Andrew did to him the lap before.
And that time Kyle does land the downside and tries turning in, but he felt that, smoke. What smoke? Is it engine? Is it tire? Maybe it's just fiberglass into the tire.
I think it's fiberglass at this point because you can see it tuck the fender in, and now we see Cody Kleiman coming in and giving a little love to Andrew Carlson coming in. So a very aggressive Pro Light race.
It's the final race of the season. Fiberglass means nothing, Ricky Johnson.
Exactly. They don't care. Let's bring him in. Bring back the steering wheel.
Let's go to Kate Osborne.
As Cody Kleiman right now is doing all he can to get on a podium, in a podium position. I talked to Mark Kleiman, their dad, yesterday about having 2 guys running, 2 brothers and sons running in the same series. He said he knew it was only an amount of time that they'd be running up front, but really till the crowd sees what they saw years ago. He said they're smart drivers, but also smart mechanics, and they're both good at finding the little things.
Thanks, Kate. And looking at Cody wanting to get up there, and he's made contact several times into the back of Andrew Carlson. I have to feel it's that last race of the season, and I'm not holding nothing back because right now I think Andrew might have owed him one in this race.
Well, they're chasing each other around. You hit me, I'm going to hit you. It's going back and forth. So tempers are flaring between Cody Kleiman and Andrew Carlson. So this is far from over, folks.
Cody with a good drive. Look at this race for the lead. On the outside's Rayford. The 9-time winner this year is right on his back. He's going to get into the back of that cab in no time at all. What can Kyle Kleiman do? He's kind of stuck on the outside at this moment, but he squares it up.
Well, what Chad was trying to do is hold him down, hold the brake, and block that inside line, and that forced Kyle to try to go around the outside, but Kyle was a little bit quicker that lap.
Chad Rayford has never won in TORC in the Pro Light races. In 2017, he's finished second 3 times. He wants that win, and this is his last chance to do it, and only 2.5 laps left to go.
both with a very, very clean line, and now we see Kyle shooting to the right lane as they go through here, but watch the roost fill up his cab as he comes through. And he's far enough ahead, so it worked out in his advantage not to stay in the same line.
And inside might have been faster by maybe a half a truck length, if that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's all how well you hit it. When I was out there giving rides, I found out that when you get into the rut, and now we see with 3 laps to go, that sometimes it's better to let off just a little bit to keep that chassis square. But it's so hard as a racer not just to push that gas as hard as you can, but Chad Rayford doing a great job holding his own.
And pulling out a little bit of an advantage right here. Rayford in that same pit, and you see Sean Morris, Mikey Vandenheuvel. This is the Kenda final rounds, and boy, wouldn't he love to put a Kenda tire truck on the top of the box.
So what Chad Rayford has to do is just hold these lines and make sure that he gets a great exit there. He gets a good run. Kyle looking underneath him, but actually losing a little bit of ground at that point, and now Kyle goes to the other line. What is going to be the better line?
Nice rhythm. Got to get that truck down and start steering. He pushes a little wide. One of these times, that's going to cost him.
Right, but as we come around, we still have 2 laps to go, so this is going to be a nail-biter. The winningest driver in Pro Light this year in second place, and Chad Rayford looking for his first victory, so we have a lot of racing to go.
I love how they're landing the downsides. Again, this is the least horsepower you'll see out of the trucks. The final race of the day will be the Pro 2-wheel drives, where you have to manage that horsepower and back off. These guys are just pinning it for the most part.
Well, but you see when they come across that blue groove, they have to throttle it. And I like to see where Chad Rayford is using some cushion. He's not trying to block the line. He's trying to keep the momentum going. And right now he's doing a good job. But Kyle Klein with a great run through the split lane.
I like it every time that Kyle's really not committing to one particular line and then just doing the opposite once again. One of these times he's going to mess up, like right there. A mess up by Rayford. He gets to that outside and not able to take enough advantage is Kyle Kleiman. We've got 1 lap to go in Pro Lights for 2017. Kleiman squares it up, goes to the inside. It's not going to happen here.
And Chad Rayford doing a great job using the cushion to help him drive. So the big question is, what's going to happen in the hairpin after this next jump?
There's that right hand, some sweet sounds of torque. This left-hand turn's gonna be pivotal. If you swing wide to get the better line, you open up that inside, and you can't do that, and he does. He gets wide. Kleiman goes to the inside. Do you bring him around a little bit? I think Kleiman's gonna have a pretty darn good run, but does he have enough of a run, Ricky?
It's all gonna come down to how they get through these last bumps. We've seen Kleiman make a run, but now puts Rayford in the right spot, so what he's gotta do is take him high.
Keep pushing him wide. Rayford drives to the inside. It's a drag race to the finish line. No way he's going to do it. Chad Rayford takes his first victory in TORC, and the Kenda tire number 29 is victorious at ERX. Kyle Kleiman didn't win the race, but he's going to win the championship, and I can promise you there's a big thumbs up going out that window net to Chad Rayford. Third place is going to be Cody Kleiman, another strong finish. Reimers moves up to 4th, and Andrew Carlson unofficially in 5th.
Designed for your journey.
What a race. Pro Lights.
Woo, that had me going.
I'm breathing hard.
Well, because I've been in both scenarios. I've been in Chad Rayford's spot where I was trying to win my first race, and then I've also been in the same place as Kyle Kleiman where you feel like you're the dominant guy and you got the shot, so then you take a shot, then it doesn't work, then you take a shot and it doesn't work. But Rayford wasn't doing anything bad, or you know, I mean, he was doing everything right. Actually, he was using the cushion. What we've seen Rayford do sometimes in the past is be a little bit too aggressive and make mistakes. And I have to give it to Chad Rayford. You did an awesome job today. Congratulations, that victory. You deserve that because you went head-to-head with the winningest guy this year, and you showed that you deserve to be here. And once again, just like Mikey Vandenheuvel and Sean Morris, you know, we need to see more sponsors come to your guys' camp. So congratulations.
And I normally would ask him a talk back, and I would love for our crew if they had that any chance to show the crash of Chad Rayford last year. One of the biggest crashes. I would love to see that, because you want to talk about getting redemption on a track that, I mean, just absolutely just was horrific the other time for Chad Rayford. So there they are getting ready, and we're about to head it down trackside. What a race in Pro Lights here at TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. The Kenda final rounds has a Kenda pilot on top. After 5th place, best finish last year, and 3 second-place finishes this year, Chad Rayford finally gets his first victory in TORC. He's a winner here at ERX.
Chad, congratulations. First and foremost, that was a long time coming for you. Congratulations. You told me you had confidence coming out of round 12, especially that final lap. How much did confidence play a part of it?
I had a lot of confidence. I knew I had good lines. I knew Kyle was a little faster, but I can race Kyle clean any day. He'll race me clean. I didn't have to worry about him taking me out. And it's a good day. I mean, after yesterday and the day before's crash, I come back and do this for this team. Like, this is awesome. Pretty awesome. Highlight of my career.
And that's what it's all about. Highlight of his career, guys. That's incredible.
And I've talked before about the big crash before the big endo. I forgot about the crash just a few days ago, a couple of rounds ago. And Rayford, how good does it feel for him to knock off the guy who had won 9 races this year, Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, to win and then beat the guy that's smoked everybody this year. So congratulations once again to Chad Rayford.
Kyle Kleiman raced him cleanly. He finishes second. I promise you, he's got a smile on his face, even though finishing second.
You know, I think he does have a smile down here, Robbie, but more importantly, that was a heck of a battle. Congratulations on the podium. Unfortunately, not where you wanted it to be. What did he have on you today?
Honestly, I don't know. He was running a smooth race. It was he was being very consistent, not really making any mistakes. The split lanes, trying to get him there, but they were so even. And you know, I gave him what I could, and he got it. I mean, it was a good race. That was fun. It was clean. You know, Rubbin's racing, and oh, so close. This is actually the first time I ever took second too. So that's thanks for that. And you know, other than that, big hats off to my team for the whole year. This is awesome to wrap it up on a race like this. You know, Maxxis, Ponzi, Pro Power, J&H, Ultra Wheels, Fox Shocks, Dynamic Torque Converters, everybody else that put their time and effort into this. Hats off to you guys. Thank you guys so much.
May have gotten second today, but he is the Pro Light. Whoa! Wow! Pro Light. They were like at a baseball game here. Pro Light champion here.
And yeah, that's an amazing fact that Kyle said. Even racing last year, and I believe he had 5-6 wins, he had never finished second in his TORC career. He didn't do it this year, but when you have 9 wins, that kind of limits your possibilities as you look at the championship standings after it's all said and done. And Cam Reimers will finish in 3rd for the championship, Carlson in 4th. But what a run by the Kleiman brothers. Cody Kleiman finishes 3rd for the race and 2nd in the championship, and it has to be a sweet moment for Father Mark. Let's go down trackside with Cody Kleiman.
Well, off track, they are brothers. That is for sure right there. Cody, congratulations. You told me earlier you've had a lot of progress this season. That's how you would define it. How did you see it?
Just a progression over the year, getting on the podium consistently, running good, strong laps, running with my brother. You know, he schooled everybody this year, but I think we're right there for next year, but we'll see what's going on. But it was Carlson family did a great job today. It was rough out there, but that's what you had to do to get up on top today. Hats off to Rayford. That's awesome. He's up here. Can't thank my sponsors enough. Ponzi, Maxxis, my whole team, family, Dynamic Torque Converters, Ultra Race Wheels, everybody. Thank you for this great season.
Cody, congratulations. It's been so much fun watching the Kleiman brothers here this year.
And a great job by the older brother there. Cody Kleiman, smiles for him. High fives. It's not just about the trucks, though, RJ. We also have some UTV racing action. Let's take a look back at highlights. What happened earlier in the Pro Stock UTV class. CJ Greaves had won 12 races in 12 tries. This is the final round, though. He wanted that undefeated streak.
But Zach Martin got out in front and never looked back. CJ took a couple shots at him, got close, but here we see Zach Martin using the cushion to his advantage, and CJ tried a couple different times, but Zach made the right call at the right time.
Both of those guys playing follow the leader there. There's CJ Greaves diving to the inside every time, but when there's a right-hander following, that seemed to be his demise. But you know, a battle of Yamahas in Pro Stock UTVs, taking that checker flag first was Zach Martin, but I mean, it was a race till the end, and this is the way it looked throughout the lap.
And we thought for sure CJ had it, but then he slides a little bit, and then he made a small mistake here. He said the transmission was giving up, lost the shift to third gear, and Zach Martin was able to make it back. He's ran that transmission all year long, so he had to go from second to fourth.
There goes Martin. So driving around the outside is Zach Martin, and taking the victory in the 918 out of Georgia. The SOB-built Motorsports Yamaha finishes with a victory here at ERX. There's your champion for 2017, taking home some Blue Crew bucks, $15,000 from Yamaha in added contingency. Look at that driver in second place, Kyle Cheney. He's second on the racetrack, but he was the championship points leader with a couple of guys tipping over behind.
Yeah, we had a situation, we went to a complete restart. CJ Greaves was able to get out and make some passes, but then he had to go all the way to the back. Then he started working his way back up to the front. So CJ Greaves in that 922, but he wasn't able to get up to the front as quick as he wanted. There we see Farr. Now we're watching Cheney out in front doing what he does, but Farr was working out really hard on Johnny Greaves, who was trying to help out his buddy, Ronnie Van Epperen.
Yeah, driving for Ronnie Van Epperen. Van Epperen was injured. Johnny did eventually get by Tim Farr, but he still needed to beat Cheney and have some hope. CJ, last few moments, able to get by the 804 of Farr, and that put him up on top of the box. But no matter what the two Yamahas could do, they could not beat the 891. Kyle Cheney wins the race, wins the championship, and what a victory it was for him. A long time in the making, and this championship goes to him. So in 2018, he can wear that #1 plate in Pro Mod UTVs. Look who's on the line. It's it. The Pro two-wheel drives at the last round. This was the race to watch. I have a feeling we're going to see more of the same today.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Additives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver, and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Additives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship, is brought to you by AMSOIL, devoted to protection, and by Cooper Tires. We make tires for people, not just cars.
Track preparation for the final race of the day, the final race of the season for 2017 TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by AMSOIL. They call it the Kenda Final Rounds. It's the final time to decide who's going to win this Vision Wheel Bad Mofo Award. Ricky Johnson. I'm Robbie Floyd. He's Ricky Johnson.
Yep.
I wish I was as fast as Ricky Johnson as a racer.
You wish you had as much money as me.
I do that too, because if I look at Wikipedia, you're a rich man, but I know that's not necessarily.
A little more than this.
But Vision Wheel Bad Mofo. Now, you know, you had your thought after the Pro 4s. After the Pro Lights, what are your thoughts?
Chad Rayford. You got to go with the guy that beat head-to-head the most dominant guy in Pro Pro Light. And he held on and he withstood the pressure after a big crash the other day in one of the previous rounds. And so I got to give it to him, man. The guy has worked so hard, flipped here last year massively, crashed hard here on Friday, and now comes back and then leads wire to wire. Got to give it to him, in my opinion.
Rayford would be my favorite. So we're going to step aside for just a bit. We'll be back with more of Torque, the Off-Road Championship, presented by Amsoil. It's the Kenda Final Rounds.
Designed for your journey.
Maturo Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
ERX Motor Park, that's where we're at, just outside of Minneapolis for the Kenda Final Rounds. Stop number 13 of Torque, the Off-Road Championship, presented by Amsoil. There's the spotters taking their place for the final time of 2017. Now, we've talked about the race winners, the championship winners, and we're about to present our Pro Light Championship #1 plate to Kyle Kleiman here in just a moment. But I want to talk about this right here. Each one of our 5 class winners gets something special from Torque in a partnership with the Red Bull Air Race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in just, 3 weekends from now. Reason I know is because I'll be there. I'll be the public address or the video board talent for it. And one thing is, the class champions in all of our 5 Torque Pro categories, whether it be the UTVs, lights, 2s, and 4s, will get, it looks like, $1,500 travel bonus and USAC VIP Suite Pass. And that is a sweet deal because it is very fun. You're at
Pun intended, sweet deal.
Yeah, it is a sweet deal. They, they keep the fans out there in the section of the turn 3 and turn 4 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you watch the best of the best in short course air racing. It is really awesome how they work in and out of those pylons.
Well, what these guys do is so precise, and they cannot make a mistake. I mean, in here we can make a mistake, we can roll over, we get flipped back over, but you don't survive when you make a mistake when it comes to air race. And they're so fast, and the ability for these guys to withstand the G-forces that they do, and you watch them, they're just gritting their teeth. It's almost popping their eyeballs out of their head as they slide back and forth and back and forth, and it is just so spectacular what they can do. So if you've never seen a Red Bull Air Race, YouTube it.
Yeah,
Once again, go.
It's pretty cool. And we talk about these trucks and what they do. 2, if you really get slammed, 3 Gs into it. The airplanes, they can turn much more than that, but they're limited to only pulling 10. That's their limit. Physically, they can do it, but they're limited to force them to stay below that threshold of 10 Gs as the champagne flows freely again. But that's pretty cool, and I like to thank the people from Torque. And I know your boy was talking about going there anyway, so hopefully I can get to talk to him and maybe get more Torque fans out there from the air race crew.
But it's awesome. They're giving them a $1,500 voucher and travel to get up there. That's great that gives these guys a chance to go experience and rub elbows with the greatest acrobatic pilots in the world.
And you can root on Kirby Chambliss, maybe Michael Goulian, 2 American pilots in the field. And, their championship hasn't been decided yet either, so that's going to be fun coming down to the very end. So, Riggy, they're about to present our championship in just a bit, and we head to our final race of the year. It's going to be a little nervous time. for a lot of these guys because they don't know what to expect, because now I think finally all gloves are going to be off.
Well, and we've seen some guys coming in that weren't running for points. You know, we saw Andrew Carlson come in and be very aggressive and win a lot of races, won three rounds. So it was it's going to be all gloves off.
And presenting our champion for the Pro Light class, let's sit it down to Mr. Scott Rain.
Race fans, let's now meet our 2017 champion. This has been a long time coming. No one has dominated a class like this guy has right here in the 2017 season. 9 wins in Pro Light. From Bark River, Michigan, here's your 2017 Pro Light champion, Kyle Kleiman.
Kyle, it's been a long season, and we talked about at the beginning, I was making the joke that it was a season of the Kleimans, and for the brothers doing a 1-2, you did it. It's so good to see you grow. When you're looking back on the season, what does this championship mean to you and for the Ponzi Maxxis team?
You know, it's a lot of determination, a lot of hard work was put into this, and you know, it means a lot, you know, for how our team progressed throughout the years. It's pretty remarkable for what we're doing. We all have full-time jobs, so it's a lot of work, and we keep pushing. And you know, next year is going to be a pretty good year, I think. You know, with my brother, he's stepping up pretty fast. You know, he's somebody you got to worry about, that's for sure. And you know, hats off to everybody out there that supported me this whole entire year and kept pushing, and our ups and downs. And hats off to Ponzi. They stuck with us from the beginning. They're like family to us, and they mean a lot. And Max is jumping on this year. You know, they feel like second family as well. And everybody else that helps me out, Billy from Power, J&H, Ultra Wheels, Dynamic Torque Converters, everybody else that put all their time and hard work into this, and I can't thank you guys enough.
Well, it seems like that Maxxis beanie that we've been seeing is your lucky charm. Keep that up. Pick up your trophy. You heard it there. Dedication, hard work, get you championships.
As another trophy has been passed on to the TORC Series champion, one more still to go, and it'll come from this class. The championship hopefuls, this is a big class, Ricky. 14 drivers going to the final race, not only of the weekend, but of the championship and everything. Until you kick off 2018, this is the last taste that you have in your mouth, and you don't want that bad taste.
Absolutely. You want to end on a high note. I think in the perfect world for the guys that don't win the championship, you want to be Chad Rayford. For guys like, Cheney, you want to finish on a high note and win. So everybody wants to win because you get to take that momentum with you all the way through the offseason. And we are going to have quite a long offseason, but the track looks perfect. We've got a little bit of cloud cover. You can see a lot of the guys going out there feeling what the lines are in different places. So it is going to be exciting.
With only one more race remaining in the 2017 campaign of TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL, it's the Kenda final rounds, and this is the final race of the final round. And you look at this field, Ricky, we bumped back up the horsepower from the Pro Lights, and this is a fun class because you got a lot more throttle available.
Which, as you look at the track description, they got the same size tires as the Pro 4s, but they are DOT. Here you have to have a little bit more finesse and drive like you're driving on ice. You can't just put the pedal to the ground. You got the suspension like the Pro 4s, but you don't have all four wheels biting. So you have to have a lot of finesse and a lot of body roll in these cars.
As you look at the trucks as they work their way around this left-hand turn, 14 drivers leading the field. Andrew Carlson, he didn't have his best Pro Light race, but once he's gotten also into racing the Pro 2s, I think he likes the Pro 2 better, or at least he has it dialed in better, and he's going to start on the front row.
Well, he does, and he's in a great spot. We've seen this young driver, when he gets in front, he loves to be up there.
Watch out for Mark Peterson, second. He's going to be on that front row. He, Eric Rupel, Mitch Dorr, these guys are battling for third place in the championship. Also, Luke Johnson back there starting sixth. He's going to be the 2017 champion, Brad Lovell. He's looking for revenge in that Amsoil 44. And listen to that horsepower as they head into that right-hander.
A strong start by Andrew Carlson, which we anticipated. So now you can see that young driver that this is his backyard. What can he do with him? He's out there. Brad Lovell getting moved around a little bit. And now we see some contact in the back. Luke Johnson having to go up on the ground. Everybody being creative, but everybody's still rolling.
Mitch Dorr looked like he came to a stop, and then look, said, I'm taking the inside of the inside. He's able to drive by on the inside, making over one spot. But Eric Ruppel, let's talk about him there, the 37 in second. I mean, he has been fast. At the last round, the Wisconsin was really on that J&H transmission machine.
Well, and Ruppel was the one that won the very first round, and he's also been a standout in this class for a long time. Here we see a driver upside down, starting to puke some water. We see a little bit of fire going on, so we are probably going to see a full course yellow.
Yep, there is a fire going on in that cab or underneath. So what happened in this Pro 2 race? Who is it? Oh, man.
That is Rinkus again. Yesterday, or in the previous round, he went over hard, and so this is the second one for him in a very similar spot. So very, very tough section for him.
Not how you want to represent Vision Wheel. As they'll try and upright him, get that fire extinguished. You know, if he didn't bend anything or tear anything up, he might be able to rejoin this. Now, we've seen it before where they did a complete restart if they haven't completed a lap. I haven't gotten official word whether they will do that or not. Our producer, Tim, I'm sure is trying to find that answer, but every other race that we'd seen, they did do a complete restart. But then again, the leaders might have crossed that finish line.
Well, we're looking at the pace truck, and we see everybody at this point staying in line. We will see when they go if they re-rack them and restack them, but I'm thinking that they're just going to start them single file. Watching the USAC officials will be talking this over. What is the best thing to do and what is the most fair thing to do? So they're saying that they did make a lap, because by the time that Mike Rinkus rolled over, the leaders had already completed a lap. So we are going to start single file, which will be great for Andrew Carlson because he'll start right up front, and then right behind him, Eric Ruppel, Brad Lovell.
I don't know if it was good. Well, there you go, and a good thing Rinkus is able to walk off the track there, and yeah, too much damage. Yeah, I don't think he's going to drive that one out, Ricky.
No.
It's going to take a while to pull him off.
Well, and also they're probably going to have to get the pettibone of the forklift over there to have to lift the front of that vehicle, because otherwise they just have to drag it on out. So right now they're trying to slow these guys down and keep them moving, because you want to keep some air rolling through the vehicles. But Andrew Carlson right now has got to be happy that he's got a straight shot at the front.
Let's take a look at what happened to Mike Rinkus. That's the driver that went over. Look at him on the near side.
He's already in. He's already swapped side to side, and now he tried to save it, but he hooks, goes over again, and when he does that, his right front actually gets ripped off. As you can see it start to lay there, the A-frame is off the vehicle, so he is not going to finish this race.
Hairpin one more time and going through there. A few lines being set, and it's a long race, but and then there's only been one official lap in there. And we saw that jump out of Carlson. We expected that jump out of the Carlson, and you talk about how fast he's been when he's been out there.
Exactly. He loves clean air. He's getting out front, and this is his backyard, so he knows it better than everybody. But, you know, we're on web right now. I'd like to throw a shout out to my sister Lori and my brother-in-law G-Dog, and also my dad, Dick Johnson. You know, he was a big fan of mine and went to all the races. So taking another look at Rankus as he comes over, you can see the A-frame is already hanging, and then that blows the rear end out. So couple hard hits. Now pay attention to that left front. You can see the A-arm flopping back and forth, and actually the rear end is knocked out as well. So a very, very hard hit from Mike Rankus.
And I look at that too, and I just see dollar bills flying around too. As a racer, I mean, you hope everything's all right, but as a racer having to pay for it, you go dollar bill, dollar bill. You know, it's tough.
This is not a cheap game, but man, it's tough. I mean, him taking a couple hard hits, but he's got a lot of time in the offseason to get that truck back together. So, Mike, get it together. Come on out west, do some testing, and we'll see you. They're just picking the whole thing up with that pettibone and taking it off. So that's going to be an expensive fix. So tough break for Mike. Get that thing back together and come on out. Here we see the truck being pulled off, and it's actually not being pulled off. The pettibone has got it up in the air. The front end is tore apart. The rear end is knocked out of that vehicle. So Mike Rankus, get it back together. We'll see you again.
I'd like to thank everybody for watching on TORCseries.com. Looks like we're about to take the green flag. They have removed Rankus's vehicle off there as we see our Toyota Escondido Pace vehicle leading the pack. They will start nose to tail, one lap down. We still have 13 more to go.
Well, we got to remember that Bitzdorf, Ruppel, and Peterson are all within 2 of 4 points of each other, and they are fighting for that third position. So those guys, they are not out of this championship hunt for the top 3 yet.
Starting nose to tail, that's the call from the USAC official. So one lap was completed. We started with 14 drivers. We're down to 3. But Andrew Carlson in the Pro 2 didn't have his best Pro Light finish. He is trying to redeem himself here at his home track.
Andrew Carlson with a great jump, and you see Peterson, and then here we're seeing Brad Lovell look to the inside of Ruppel, but Luke Johnson was kind of left sleeping there, got left at the start.
Brad Lovell's had quite a few mechanical problems this year, just things that shouldn't go wrong. He's battling in third, in fourth. Mark Peterson in that number 2. Luke Johnson, LJ14 back in 5th. He's putting the pressure on Peterson.
But look at Ruppel. He is charging hard as he comes deep in here as we see another yellow. Are they going to do a full course yellow again? Yes, we've had another driver down. We see Mitch Dorr stuck right in the lane. So something happened to Mitch on the start in turn 1. This is a very, very tough call. As I said right before the start, that Mitch Dorr was actually one of the drivers that's fighting for 3rd place. So tough break for Mitch Dorr.
Okay, so Mitch Dorr being pulled off and not under his own power, but
yeah, tough break for Mitch. You know, he's been running so strong. Obviously, his father was one of the Ford Rough Riders himself.
He was 3rd in points too.
3rd in points, one of the guys fighting for it. So you hate to go out that way, but Eric Ruppel is sitting in a great spot.
Yeah, it looks like Mitch Dorr is going to drop from 3rd to 5th in points unless something happens to Mark Peterson and Andrew Carlson. Or excuse me, Eric Ruppel here in the near future. We're going to have another restart here, and we started with 14. Now we're down to 12. I said before this race, and we talked off the side, I said it's going to be interesting. You thought it was going to be a great advantage for Carlson because he's starting on the front and he does really well. And I said, watch out for Eric Ruppel, didn't I? Out of all the people, I said, he's been fast, and I think he really wants it. And you put him up there, I think he could start rubbing a bit.
Well, what would it be if he got a bookends and he won the first race and the last race? That would be unbelievable for Eric Ruppel, and because he's one of the guys that's been here before.
let's go to Kate Osborne.
Unfortunately for Mitch Dorr, who is running and trying to get third in the championship points, unfortunately the team right now thinks he lost power steering and right now is out of the race.
If I lost power steering, I would put on my Keegan Kincaid shoes and I would drive that thing for 13 laps.
There's a certain level when you lose 100% like a belt or something like that, you have to. There's no driving it, and that's why we saw him up against the outside of the wall. So he was doing everything he can. And Mitch is a strong young guy. So if anybody could have held on to it, it would be Mitch Dorr. But tough break for him. Keep your chin up, Mitch. We'll see you back again.
Toyota Escondido pace vehicle hopefully leads them around for the final time on a unscheduled caution. We still have the competition caution after lap 7 of 14. We've still only completed one lap, Ricky.
TORC vehicle makes it around, passes, gets his lap back, and now he's leading the race. So Whitey has taken the lead.
So it looks like it's going to be a restart for the Pro 2 wheel drives, nose to tail, one lap completed as Andrew Carlson leads Eric Ruppel. And you see that 44 Brad Lovell back there in third. These guys want to win so bad and finish off 2017 right.
Ruppel on the gas hard, pushing it and keeping Andrew Carlson honest. Andrew with a great start on the inside, and now we see Brad Lovell looking to the inside, coming into the hairpin, but Ruppel comes over.
Ruppel landed a little sideways. You're seeing back there in 5th. Johnson going on the outside of Mark Peterson. Tries driving around him and does. He'll take that right-hand lane. Oh, getting up on 2 wheels.
On the outside.
2 wheels is Brad Lovell, too. These guys were going at it every single weekend of the TORC Series, and I have to be impressed with Eric Ruppel in that Maxxis entry. I really thought today we'd see the best out of him, just what I've seen the past couple of rounds out of Eric.
Andrew Carlson, Sky, and these guys they're up to about 180 feet over that finish line jump. We see Ruppel up on 2 wheels, Brad Lovell on 2 wheels, everybody driving right on the edge, but it's Andrew Carlson with a demanding lead at this point in his backyard.
And it looks a little different than the last round, too, because on those jumps, he was actually locking up those front tires, bringing the front end down. Brad Lovell makes a move on Eric Ruppel. Here comes Luke Johnson trying to get in there for third. Brad Lovell moves up to second. Kate, you have more?
I think Brad Lovell right now is the definition of checkers or wreckers. He told me earlier today he is going for this win. He's going to drive like a gentleman, but he is going to go for this win.
But don't count out Luke Johnson. Johnson trying to tuck in behind Ruppel, or in front of Ruppel, and behind Lovell, and Johnson moves up to third.
So now let's look at the lap times, because even though some of these guys were in traffic, we can see Andrew Carlson very fast, 51.2, Lovell 52, 51.3, and Luke Johnson with a 51.2, so very, very close.
That last lap, Luke Johnson, the fastest lap of the race by 1/1000th of a second over Andrew Carlson. So those top 3 guys are as tight as we saw them at the last round.
But let's not forget Mikey Vandenheuvel, who's been so dominant here. He had to start towards the back of the field, and now he's starting to work his way forward, and there he is, right behind Ruppel in that red Flying Dutchman entry.
Mikey Vandenheuvel up to 5th. He started in 10th place. I mean, he is working his way up, Kate.
Mikey is working his way up, but he did say something that was interesting to me. He said all of these other drivers are used to being drivers. They're conditioned, their bodies are conditioned for the heat. He said, I'm used to being under these cars and trucks. I'm used to building race cars. And the heat of these cars is one thing he said that he's dealing with.
Yeah, Mikey Vandenheuvel's title's been mechanic as well as spotter in the TORC Series for most of this year, except for the ERX rounds. That's enough, he had enough money to race the ERX rounds, and boy, he's showing he's got what it takes to win.
Absolutely, and you can see that he's had to use a little bit of bumper to get his way to the front, but he's driving like a gentleman. He did not door Eric Ruppel. He came in, he's waiting because he knows we're on lap 5 of 14, and he's got to get by him cleanly and have a race truck to go out. Oh, and he comes around, might lose a spot to Peterson, and he does. A tough break for Mikey Vandenheuvel.
And Mark Peterson moves up as well. It looks like Mitch Dorr's out of this race. Peterson's battling for the champion, or battling for 3rd place with Eric Ruppel now. I mean, only 4 points separated 3 drivers, and Ruppel, Peterson, one of these guys is going to finish in 3rd.
Well, right now we're watching Luke Johnson as he comes up on red level. Actually has the fastest lap between these three guys. Carlson with a 51.4, and then Lovell with a 51.6, and Luke Johnson with a 51.2. So we're going to have a great race come second half.
Want to remind everybody we have that competition caution after lap 7. So no matter what advantage that Andrew Carlson has, they will start nose to tail for the back half of the race. I like the line of Brad. He took an intermediate line, but that was a mistake. He took an intermediate
Carlson
line.
is slowing down and on the line with Luke Johnson there as well.
Carlson looks like he's out of the race. That may bring out a full course caution, and they'll go back to that last lap if that's the case, because I don't know how he can block that one line, but look at that. Luke Johnson, even though the broken down, and there it is, even though the broken down driver of Andrew Carlson was in that outside lane, was able to make the pass, but now he's going to lose that and drop back from that last lap.
Tough break for Andrew Carlson, who was out in front having a great run, so we don't know what happened. Did he lose a belt? Did he lose oil pressure? We can see a little bit of steam coming out of that motor as they try to pull him out of that split lane, but a very, very tough break for Andrew Carlson here at ERX.
So as you see them hook up to Andrew Carlson, he was out in front. This is a section where there shouldn't be any problems, but he just pulled off of the track, not really under any power, and unfortunately what looked like a chance to a win will not be the case for Andrew Carlson. And this will be our competition caution when we come back, the second half of the Pro 2-wheel drives, and what a race it's gonna be.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios, the authority in communications.
Well, we've had a few yellows come out. Now this will serve as the competition caution. Kate Osborne?
Yeah, for Andrew Carlson, who's had 3 wins in Pro 2, his truck obviously is shut off, and they said they were going to maybe try and fire it up, but it looks like right now he's being towed off the track. Obviously a disappointing day for guys who know how to get the job done here at ERX.
The Pro 2-wheel drives line up for the second half of this race. Due to that caution, they go back a lap, so the advantage that Luke Johnson had taking over position over Brad Lovell's not going to be anymore. Lovell's going to lead the field. Lovell, Johnson, Ruppel, there's Vandenheuvel, who started in 10th. He's up to 4th. We've got a ton of races still ahead, Ricky Johnson.
And Brad Lovell with a great start. Now we're going to see Mikey Vandenheuvel go back to work on Ruppel because he took a couple shots at him, so that actually came at a great time for him.
Going to get a drive to the inside here. Watch that race for 3rd. Also watch that race for the lead. Johnson, nope, he says now's not the time. But look at Ruppel even sticking a nose in. Vandenheuvel sticking a nose in. And they both separate. 1 and 2 take different lines. Who's going to come out on top?
Eric Ruppel with a great run through there. As he comes in, whoa, gets close, a little bit bumping and banging. That's what we're talking about. Let's go racing.
And sometimes when you're crossed up, or every time when you're crossed up in the air and you don't have contact with that ground, you can't change directions. You're at the mercy of that truck.
But if you're a driver like Luke Johnson, you're waiting, and there we see Cody Conrad just sailing about 200 feet. And now we see Luke Johnson pushing a little bit, but when you get hit in the air, it's a little startling because you're flying along great, and all of a sudden you feel this bang from the inside. So can Luke Johnson make up the ground on Brad Lovell?
The last 3 races for Eric Ruppel, he's finished in the top 4. He's definitely picking up pace. He's got a hard charger in Mikey Vandenheuvel behind him, and somebody else has rolled over. It looks like a full course caution will come out. We've got a fire. We'll try and find out who that is as quick as possible. Also, the driver exiting the vehicle as soon as possible. And unfortunately, when you see that black smoke, you know there's fire underneath, and you never want to see that.
As we take another look, we see Cody Conrad as he comes around, and everything is looking good with Cody Conrad as he comes in. But then it's the
It's Hanegraaff.
Yeah, it's Hanegraaff with the autism truck, so a tough break for him. You know, right there, that's where Sean Morris yesterday, or in the earlier round, did a complete flip back on his wheels, but for Hanegraaff, he's upside down.
It's Kevin Hanegraaff and the Allies of Autism truck that goes over, Ricky.
He comes in, bicycles, turns into it, but doesn't save it, and he goes up and over again. So a lot of times you're lucky you land back on your wheels, but this time Hanegraaff ends up upside down with a little bit of fire.
And that's a great story, and you see the fiberglass over there, and you see Kevin off of the track shaking his head. And follow him on Facebook, and he tells that story about his son and really representing, you know, the Allies of Autism on his truck. And he doesn't even necessarily list it as the top sponsor on his truck, but he'd like to thank all of those people that helped get him here in TORC the Off-Road Championship for 2017.
Yeah, I mean it's some say it's a huge blessing to have somebody with a little bit of a problem, and working with kids with autism when I was young, you just find out the true nature of a human being and how sweet they can be. And it is one challenge for a parent. So it's great to see someone like Hanegraaff pushing this forward to get knowledge out there.
The Lee Beverage Sundrop machine will be out of the race here today, and another driver, it sounds like he's in a hot pit. Is that Mark Peterson, Kate?
Mark Peterson came through the hot pit here, thought his rear end was loose. The team looked it over, shook their heads, and had him keep going. But unfortunately for Mark Peterson, having these issues here on a track that he felt was extremely comfortable for him as it being a driver's track and in contention for third in the championship. A bummer for him as he's trying to do all he can to be back in the race.
Well, that's two of the three that are having a tough day. Mitch Dorr having trouble, and then Peterson with the trouble. But Ruppel, I have never seen this guy fight so hard. I love how gritty he's throwing some doors in at Luke Johnson. He fought hard with Mikey Vandenheuvel. So he's showing these guys, as he said, you know, young guns what? Yeah. Let's talk about the older guys.
Yeah, it's impressive that he's out there battling with Luke. But, I mean, to be holding off, and I mean, racing Mikey Vandenheuvel, that's the big thing. Now, Vandenheuvel will seem to be the fastest this year at ERS.
Well, and what's one thing to hold him off, but he's just running a strong line, and Mikey's having to work his way around him. So we still have a lot of racing to go. We're only 6 of 14.
and evidently they have not cleared the track totally. That's why they're trying to get them so slow heading into this left-hand turn. So that means we have a restart, nose to tail. Once again, Brad Lovell leads Luke Johnson, who will be the 2017 champion. But Eric Ruppel, the guy to look for, that Maxxis entry, number 37, has been really giving these drivers fits. Mikey Van Den Heuvel's been fast here at ERX, back and forth, and it looks like Brad Lovell's on the gas early. He wants to check out.
Yeah, Brad Lovell with a great start. Luke Johnson getting left just a little bit behind, and we saw Ruppel give a little nudge up there. Come on, buddy, let's get with it. And now we see Mikey Van Den Heuvel working on Ruppel just as well.
He's into him, and they're caught. They're hung up, and now they got uncut. They were stuck there for a moment, and Cody Conrad takes advantage.
Here comes Cody Conrad straight up the inside, but then Van Den Heuvel looking back to the inside, trying to rotate around the bottom and get a run. But Cody Conrad with a great sense to be at the right place at the right time.
Front bumper to rear bumper. They were stuck for a moment, and over a jump, it could have got ugly in a hurry, but both of those drivers managed to separate. Brad Lovell trying to separate himself, because even though we haven't completed 7 laps, we have already had our competition caution. There goes Lovell, there goes Johnson, Ruppel, Van Den Heuvel, Conrad. This is a fight to the end.
And now we see Luke Johnson getting a little bit too far sideways, and now Ruppel capitalizing on it and getting to the inside. So big mistake by Luke Johnson, going from second to third, now looking back around the outside. Can he hold it?
He's trying to drive out. This will set him up for the inside. He just needs to get at least half a truck length, and good horsepower out of Luke Johnson's Langlade Ford. Now he's in a good position. He probably can't pitch it as hard as he wants to, though.
But Mikey Van Den Heuvel in the right place, and now...
Oh, and he doesn't let go of him. Ruppel stuck him for just a little bit. I think that's going to be a big advantage for Mikey Van Den Heuvel.
Great for Mikey Van Den Heuvel, and also Brad Lovell, who gets out in front. But now Mikey Van Den Heuvel looking on the inside.
Johnson drops back one spot, and you see Van Den Heuvel move up. Johnson tries going in the inside. Will he have the grip shooting up? And while we're watching this race up front, Brad Lovell doesn't know what's going on behind him.
He's checking out. We see Luke Johnson looking at the outside, going to try to get underneath Mikey Van Den Heuvel. And now Ruppel also making another move, but Luke Johnson not making the same mistake, opening up that exit.
That is fiberglass hanging from Van Den Heuvel, both his hood and the tail. That's just cosmetic, no problems there. You don't even see Brad Lovell in the picture. Can these two, can these three catch up to Brad Lovell? That's the big question.
Van Den Heuvel very fast with a 51.8 that last lap, so he is a man on the move. So if they can keep this momentum going and try to catch him, Ruppel with a small mistake, giving Johnson and Van Den Heuvel a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, that was not the best lap for Luke Johnson. Still the fastest lap of the race. It's Johnson, and Van Den Heuvel gets crazy wide here, and he blows the left rear. Johnson's going to get by, or is he? Oh, man, that is close, and Ruppel's going to go to the inside.
Ruppel shoots up the inside. Mikey Van Den Heuvel DBs the tire, but Ruppel is at the right place at the right time, and he capitalizes. And this is huge for Brad Lovell. He's out in front all by himself while these guys are trying to take each other out.
Everything is just going on behind him, and he's just totally oblivious. This has been a year of misfortune for Brad Lovell. Things have gone wrong that just shouldn't go wrong. Bolts back out, things go out, maybe a crash here or there, but look at this race for second place. Eric Ruppel is not backing down.
Absolutely, and he's capitalizing on mistakes. And now we see Luke Johnson just saying, I'm just going to run to the outside of Ruppel with an over rotation, and that works to Johnson's advantage, and he takes the left lane.
The same thing that caused Johnson, 2 laps earlier, caused Ruppel right there, and they both did it to themselves.
Exactly, but we saw Mikey Van Den Heuvel do a huge swap, and it actually blew the tire apart, and that's what they've been saying, but no tire can withstand that. But now, can Luke Johnson start to put down the perfect laps if he even thinks about gaining those 6 seconds on Brad Lovell?
Lovell would have to have something happen. As you see Mikey Van Den Heuvel in the pits, they're trying to change that tire, maybe gain a point here or there, but unfortunately for him, yeah, that tire can't handle that force of that tire into the berm. Let's go to Kate.
Mikey Van Den Heuvel proved himself in this season that he can race, and obviously as they're working on that tire, it is stuck, and this is going to be very detrimental for him. However, he did say he's met all of his expectations that he had for himself this season, and he feels he's gone above and beyond from the expectations that people had laid out for him.
Well, you can see right there as he lands, all the weight was in that left rear. So this is not a DOT problem. This is a situation where over 4,000 pounds, a couple of G's, so probably 9,000 pounds. But now watch, he gets on a bicycle. Luke Johnson shoots wide, and I love this. Eric Ruppel, right place, right time, sees it going on. Luke corrects, goes high. Eric Ruppel low, but Mikey Vanderhoevel had the talent to keep from crashing. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know how he was able to go on about it. Thank goodness that was uphill for him. He was turning out of Luke, but I thought that was going to get ugly. You want to talk about something pretty? That's the 44 of Amsoil truck of Brad Lovell out of Colorado. And it's a man, we've said it at every stop, he can race anything. He does race anything. And we talked to him at the end of the last round's races. He wanted to win, but he said, kudos to Luke winning the championship. He deserved it this year.
100%, gentlemen. Amsoil have a champion in Brad Lovell, and he was one of the first ones to come over and congratulate Luke on his championship. And right now, with 2 laps, we're going to have to see a complete a whole caution lap for anyone to catch him, because he had the fastest lap last time around with a 52.2. Luke Johnson with a 52.4. So great racing, but they're 6 seconds with a gap.
Brad's not backing down. Yeah, it would take a full course caution to even back everybody back up, or possibly a tire. And that's the case too. If you're Brad, and we've talked about it before, where you don't throw it in quite as hard when you have a 6-second lead. You don't want to do what Mikey did and blow the tire off the bead.
Yeah, and so what he's doing is he's keeping that vehicle real straight, driving forward and hanging on to it. So right now, he's coming with the white flag, and then we see Luke Johnson about 6 seconds back. But right now, I keep saying right now, but right now, Brad Lovell is a happy man because he's had to deal with a lot of adversity this year.
And just like their commercial, they say the Cooper tires are going round and round, and he circulates his course one more time, and he will be a winner here at ERX. What a way to finish the season. When you have an advantage like this, is a victory lap, and you still start hearing, is that motor, am I hearing a little sound?
Exactly, is my tire coming apart?
What's happening?
I got a flat, what's going on? Do I go fast, do I go slow? What do I need to do? So Brad Lovell's doing a great job flicking it in, got a good pause in the middle, straightens it up, gets a good drive, takes the opposite lane of the lapper.
Absolutely.
So he says, there's no way I'm getting stuck in these lanes.
No question. Brad Lovell, it's been a while coming. I mean, his last win was back in Crandon a few months ago. 2 wins on the season heading into ERX, and the final Yamaha checker flag of 2017 will go to Brad Lovell in the Amsoil 44, and nobody is more proud of that win than the Lovell family, finally doing it after all the problems he has. He's going to finish second in the championship, and the victory donuts go to him.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
Well, the jet hot truck of Luke Johnson wasn't quite hot enough today, but you know, the driver who ends, even though he finishes third on a good note, and he was hot without question, was Eric Ruppel. And both of these guys, I'm curious to see what they have to say here at the end, because they both drove their hearts out.
Well, and there you have 1, 2, and 3 for the championship as well, and also winners all season long. You see how happy Brad is. He's like, not supposed to get out of the truck yet, Brad. You got to stay in.
The 2017 season of TORC, the Off-Road Championship, presented by Amsoil, is now complete. And the final race was the Pro 2-wheel drives, and the final winner of the year is Brad Lovell. The Coloradoan is stoked to be on the podium, and it's everybody's job to beat him the first race of 2018. Let's go down to Kate Osborne.
Good, okay. All right, you're good, bro. Yeah, send it. Come on up. Yeah! Yes!
That is one very excited man and very well deserving of that win. Brad Lovell, you may have ended up second in the championship, but you ended the season on a high. How gratifying is a win like that going into the offseason?
Well, I'll tell you, we came out here with something to prove, and the heat was off for this last race, and not worrying about points or anything. I just really think it gave me the drive to go out there and just lay it all out. And boy, pulling Luke out there, I kept hearing, hey, you're pulling him by a few and a few. I kept just trying to stay clean and not over-rotating this turn back here. So, wow, I can't be happier.
We knew it was going to be checkers or wreckers with Brad Lovell, and he takes the win here, the final race in Pro 2.
And he was hearing from his spotter of what was happening between he and Luke, but I really don't think he understood really what was happening behind him in this race. You see the unofficial results.
Yeah, Brad Lovell with first place, Luke Johnson with second place, Eric Ruppel. These three are the three that finished 1, 2, and 3 in the championship. With second place finisher today is going to be crowned our champion later, a little bit later.
LJ14 didn't win the battle, but he wins the war. He finishes second here at ERX.
You nailed it, Robbie. He definitely won the war. Luke, you told me yesterday in round 12 that you weren't sure how long it would take for it to sink in that you've won the championship. The real question is, has it sunk in yet?
It's getting more and more real now, and man, my hat's off to Brad Lovell. He drove a hell of a race, and to race against champions like him makes winning championships like this that much sweeter. I got to give it up to my team. They've put an awesome truck under me all year. We fought through a lot of stuff this weekend, but this Jet Hot multicam truck has been awesome. Klingblade Ford, Wagner Shell, Southside Tires. Man, this season has come together from absolutely nothing, and I have the best support team in the business. There's plenty of other people I need to thank out there, from Rugged Radios to Method Wheels, Baja Designs, Klingblade Ford. I mean, these guys have made it here, and to everyone I forgot, thank you so much. This championship is ours.
It sure is, and you're celebrating even with a row of helmets. Check that out, that one being exceptionally special. For what reason?
Well, Bell's been a sponsor of mine for a long time, and only a champion gets a gold helmet at the end of the year. So not only do I get to run a red plate, but I get a gold nugget for the top of my head. So this means a lot to me, and man, this moment's pretty sweet.
It's official. He is the Pro 2 champion of TORC Off-Road.
Well, pick a topic, Robbie. I'm trying not to cry watching my son out there. That's a tough thing to watch from here.
You saw his mechanic, Zach, down there getting emotional as well. And there's the championship standings after it's all over. A 29-point differential between Johnson, Lovell. Eric Ruppel finishes in third, 6 markers better than Mark Peterson. And his best, he might have won the first round of the year, Kate, but that was his best race of the year.
There is no doubt about that, Robbie. Eric, that was an unbelievable race for you. You battled it. You showed that you have the truck, you have the speed, you have the confidence in yourself. What do you have to say to those young guns?
I'm not going away. Sorry, I'm not going away. We're coming out with a new truck next year. And do a little update. And I got to thank Maxxis Tire, J&H Transmissions, Dynamic Converters, Pettit Development, Matusik Builders, Wrap guys. They're here this weekend to wrap this truck. She's a little rough this weekend, but we expected that. Shifter broke off, only had front brakes. I was scared to death. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. Mikey's probably a little upset with me, but he's got to understand too. But yeah, congratulations to these guys. They had a little bit, obviously a little more forced, but we'll be back next year with a little more.
We definitely can understand that. Eric Ruppel, third place here to finish out the season.
Picking up the pieces. That's what's happening. There's a souvenir. There's a souvenir. And get the drivers to sign them. That's going to be it. We'll still hear from a few people here in just a bit. TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. What a race here at ERX.
Designed for your journey.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Cooper tires on the ground go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, so count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
The tires on the ground go round and round.
TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. We're at ERX Motor Park for the Kenda final rounds. There's the victory podium. We still have one more presentation to go. And again, I'd like to thank everybody watching today on TORCseries.com and throughout the season on TORCseries.com. And as soon as they know and have things finalized, they will post the 2018 season on TORCseries.com. And before we even go to get off air, I'd like to thank everybody that's helped out, from inside our trucks to the people at MSI and around the venue. If you can't, if you didn't make it in 2017, you need to come out to one of the live events. See it in person. Get to meet, Tiffany Stone, or maybe it's Kate Osborne down there trackside, or Brent Smith, or Scott Rain up there in the booth. Ricky Johnson, my motocross and off-road hero, get to sit next to him each and every week, and it's truly an honor. But you need to see it in person. There's several tracks, maybe some new tracks on the menu. Definitely a lot of reworking each and every year in the TORC Championship. Even though we had a postponement of round number 4 and had to delay it a few months, we got that round taken care of earlier in the week. We finished it up with the final 2 rounds yesterday as well as today. LJ right there with the trophy. Love to have things wrapped up before it ever came down to that final stop. His sponsors like Bell Helmets, I noticed, were in the pits, and Chris Wheeler down there giving him some love. But you see guys like next to him, the first guys to shake his hand, Brad Lovell. That's the camaraderie inside the pits. And as I said just a moment ago, Brad said, hey, I wanted to win it, but if I didn't, I'm happy Luke did. He earned it this year. And you see guys like Mikey Vandenheuvel, who really put on a charge in his time at ERX. But the young guns of sport, the young guns of TORC, these guys are the new breed. They're the lifeblood of the sport. And you've heard names like Johnson on the victory podium before. You've heard names like Greaves on the victory podium before. But this is the next generation, the Luke Johnson, the CJ Greaves. And you can follow it on youtube.com/TORC. Again, it's on 7 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday night. You can look back at the original episode, the first episode. The next one comes up this week. But again, follow it online. It's a new series called Young Guns. Just get onto YouTube and go TORC Young Guns, and you'll find it, no problem.
A new generation is rising, an inevitable force primed to lay claim to what is theirs. This is Young Guns.
One more #1 trophy to hand out, and he's down there trackside. We're just a few moments away. As the Pro 2 podium still being finished. Again, I'd like to Turn everybody to YouTube, also TORCseries.com. Thank you for watching all this year. And looking, you know, at that battle for third place, unfortunately, Mark Peterson, Eric Ruppel, Mitch Dorr, things didn't go the way they wanted, especially for Dorr having to exit the race early. But those guys who raced in the Midwest Off-Road Racing and had to step up into the Pro 2 class, and you see that those guys who were in the Sporty 2 or whatever class it may have been in previous season, they can compete with the Lovels, the Johnsons, and the like. And it really, as the season progressed, you could see they were starting to make those changes and really progressing their trucks as the year went on.
Oh man, you know, I'm just hoping that Luke's not charging up behind me, but the Cooper tires are doing a great job driving on this dry slick and gripping, and back in this hairpin, I was right on the edge of over rotation, but the truck was balanced so well. Huge thanks to my team out here. Scott Douglas for spotting for me all weekend out here, my Amsoil teammate. We worked hard on the truck.
One thing about this track is the weather did hold off, you know, coming into the first stop here. You know, it did rain. It was a little wet for the sportsmen a couple of days ago. It rained last night at the track for a bit. It didn't rain at our hotel just about 10 miles down the road. So that's why things were a little dry at the start of the day. But you look at the racing today and you look at that dirt that's just behind as you head into turn one, the track really held up. Jeff Nordstrom, everybody, the crew, everybody at MSI did an awesome job of really keeping this track tidy. And, you know, and made a few changes here and there to make the track more raceable. Another thing I want to point out, too, is stick on TORCseries.com. Maybe you can get a ride around the track. I saw our boy Special D, the guy who helps us out here in the trailer. He got to ride around with Ricky Johnson today in the two-seater and get to take a lap around the track with a former TORC champion and Ricky Johnson is a cool thing to do. And they do a lot of promotions, a lot of giveaways throughout the season. So stick with us on TORCseries.com. So the final champagne spray of 2017, and boy, that tastes so good, doesn't it, Brad Lovell? Luke Johnson and Eric Ruppel, the final champagne toast for our victory podium in the Pro 2-wheel drive.
Is that my buddy Dakota down there? Dakota, is that you? Where is she? Is that you? Oh, come on up and say hi. I haven't seen you in so long.
Unfortunately for Kevin Hanegraaff, he's going to finish in 10th place, 2 laps down. Again, check him out at Allies of Autism. I know that it's a great deal, and find out more about that and how he represents the community. Brad Sievers, another good story, and we've seen little features on him before, and you saw him in his fight, and unfortunately had a tough end to his season going off track in the UTV yesterday, but follow him on Facebook, you know, another face of TORC trying to, you know, want to step into the trucks, and he's dealt with addiction problems in the years past, and he has so many people that are following him saying, I really dig the message that you're sending, and again, just another one of our drivers that you just don't know quite enough here in the TORC series. All right, we're ready for our final presentation, the final #1 plate. Let's send it to the voice of off-road, Scott Rain.
Well, race fans, it's now time to meet our 2017 TORC Pro 2 champion. And during his interview, I hope he tells a story about his kindergarten teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Luke Johnson.
Luke, this season has been up and down for you, and it's finally come to an end. You have to be so excited to do in front of all your family, your friends, your loved one, your team. You've worked so hard to get here. I've always asked everybody when they get this championship, in one word, how do you feel right now about it?
Euphoric. You know, this has been a 20-year journey for me, like Scott alluded to. I told my fifth grade, told him too. But my kindergarten teacher, when I was 5 years old, I was going to be a race truck driver when I grew up. So to be standing here, Pro 2 champion at 25 is incredible, and I wouldn't be here without an amazing support system from my parents from day one, my girlfriend, my team, my sponsors, my fans. This journey wouldn't have been possible without them, and to be standing here as a Pro 2 champion, I'm at a loss for words. This is an amazing moment.
Well, you've done it here, Luke. Pick that up, show everybody what a Pro 2 champ looks like. Dedication since 5 years old.
And no matter how many times people ask him, I mean, it's still fresh right now, but you can hear his voice break. You can see that feel. And there were times when we left this race earlier on in the year after round 3, it looked like his championship hopes might have been gone. One mistake by him could have cost him that championship, Kate Osborne, and certain moments of the year, Brad Lovell had those feelings. But somebody had to win, and Luke is the man.
You know what? It was really unbelievable. And to use the word euphoric, that is a word that I would think would describe a championship like that. One that he is, you know, I think for Luke, he's wanted to be in Pro 2 for as long as I've known him, for as long as you've probably known him. And it truly is a dream for him to win a championship.
Final thoughts as we get ready to round out our 2017 season?
Well, everyone, we got some money to give away because that's what happens, that cash.
Yeah.
But final thoughts, I don't know. This has been incredible.
So final thoughts, who do you think, I mean, you're not the judge, but final thoughts, who do you think won the Bad Mofo?
There were so many bad mofos out there.
Pick one.
I don't know, man. Yo, Holmes. I don't know. I don't know.
Yo, Holmes. Is that what we're down to? You know
No,
what I'm going to say?
I don't know.
We've had some odd winners here and there. You know how I'm going to say right now?
Who?
Eric Ruppel.
I hope he does. You know what? He deserves it. There's
We'll
some
see.
consistency there.
We'll see. Brad Lovell was able to take that win, but Eric Ruppel, a guy that not many people looked at, he'd be my choice, but I'm not the one to decide. The Vision Wheels Bad Mofo Award, the final one for 2017. Who's going to win it?
Guys, I love giving out this award, and I'm so sad that this is my last time giving out the Vision Wheel Bad Mofo Award. And I am very, very ecstatic to give this to this guy. He flipped, he rolled, he ruined a tire, but you know what? He gets back, he hot pits, and he still continues showing that you should never give up. And Mikey Vandenhoevel, you never gave up, and now you're a Vision Wheel Bad Mofo. Congratulations to you. This is you. Show everybody that cool customized wallet, flip it around, show that you're a Bad Mofo, and that you've got $250. Mikey, word of the day is never give up, and that's exactly what you did. You didn't give up. You're a Vision Wheel Bad Mofo. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, Walker Evans told me one time, it's never a wreck until you give up on it. So I was just never steering out of it. Like, all you want to do sometimes is close your eyes and cry for your mama, I guess. But it was pretty hairy out there. But, you know, I managed to save it. I don't think I did roll all the way over. I checked my roof. There's no scratches in it. So I don't think I went all the way over on that one.
Well, you've done it here. Never give up. Show that Vision Wheel Bad Mofo Award and what that's all about. Congrats. And back up to you guys.
You know, I think that's actually very, very well deserving. He's been a Bad Mofo here at our ERX since, you know, he kicked off his season here. And to be honest, he's such a Bad Mofo, I think he deserves a ride next year. Give that Bad Mofo a ride.
It's got to come out of your pocket. How much money you
$250 probably won't buy that for him. But
How much? $250,000?
$250,000, but they were getting $250 here.
Come out of your
Floppy.
pocket. And you notice Case by my side and my partner Ricky Johnson. He
Went to
asked
go do some
he
celebrating.
asked if I could be down there with his son. And it's not his first TORC title. He won a buggy title, but it's different. This is the truck category, and it is his first title. So you had to be proud, Papa.
Oh, I can't imagine. I felt like I was going to need to put some tissue up here for RJ at one point here.
And Mama Bear, Stephanie Johnson, congratulations to them. And congratulations to all of our winners. We had some winners today that didn't win the championship, and they ended the season on the note they wanted to, because think about it. When we start next year, it's a long time, and you're only as good as your last race. That's what we said at the top of the show.
Exactly. And you know what? Those guys came out to prove it, Brad Lovell being one of them. Checkers or wreckers, he told me before. He didn't matter. He was going home. He can fix the truck in the offseason. He didn't care.
Chad Rayford was the other. So congratulations to all of our champions. Is it time to wrap things up? I'm waiting. Is it time to wrap it up?
I'm not ready to go yet. Let's hang more.
Unfortunately, we have to shut it down.
I'm going to miss you.
Do you have any final words you want to say?
Man, it's been a heck of a season. Thanks to all of those who are involved, who got a chance to drive, who came on board with UTVs. I feel so blessed to be on board with TORC. I love it. It's the best form of racing in motorsports, and That's all I got.
It was an awesome season, and it's a done season now. For Kate Osborne and Ricky Johnson, I'm Robbie Floyd. Congratulations goes to all of our champions in the Pro Stock UTVs. CJ Greaves with a victory. Kyle Cheney in the Pro Mods. You look at the Pro Lights and Kyle Kleiman, the Pro 2s in the Luke Johnson, and now the 3-time winner in the Pro 4, CJ Greaves. Congratulations. Until next year, I'm Robbie Floyd. We'll see you then.